6:01 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Indianapolis Colts released kicker Matt Gay on Thursday. The move comes just 2 years after he became the NFL's highest-paid kicker. He had 2 years remaining on his $22.5 million contract, and the move saves the Colts $2.75 million. And the Nashville Predators beat the Utah Hockey Club last night in a 4-3 shootout as Philip Forsberg put a backhander past Utah's Karel Vejmelka to secure the Preds' second straight win. Nashville was 2 for 3 on the power play and killed both of Utah's advantages. The Preds are back on the ice tomorrow night in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. Puck drop is at 9 p.m. And the Tennessee Vols orange and white game is tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. While the game will not be broadcasted or streamed on TV, you can hear the first call of Mike Keith, Ramon Foster, and the rest of the Vol Network crew right here on 104.5 The Zone starting at 1. And a Masters update after round 1. Englishman Justin Rose matched his best round at the Masters, going 7 under par. Rose is a 3-shot leader going into round 2 today. And tied for second at 4 under is Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, and Ludwig Aberg. Bryson DeChambeau sits at 3 under par, and Rory McIlroy shot an even par. Fred Couples, at age 65, became the second oldest player to break par at the Masters, shooting a 71. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW Friday edition, brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. We are ready for one final day, the final 20% of your week, a Masters Friday, a Big Orange Friday as well. Brent Hubs at 7:20, Ron Slay at 9:20. The game that is sweeping the nation, that you guys love, that we like doing, well, we switch to a different position. We're doing blind NFL draft dating, I guess kind of what we're calling it. I feel a little weird calling it that.
Blind dating?
We're going to keep workshopping it. Blind draft resumes, edge rushers in hour 3 this morning at 8:20. And a lot of buzz out in Knoxville. Nico Iamaleava, NIL deals, new deals, transfer portals, spring game. Lots to get into. 615-737-1045. We stream the show live on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch on this Friday, April the 11th. Good morning. How are we doing?
Solid, man.
Good. I have a roast, though, on this Friday.
Ooh, Friday roast.
Yeah, I know I'm going out of the normal, Monday roast, but
Who is it?
It's Red.
Red, what he doing?
That is Kayla's dog, for those unfamiliar.
Red's getting roasted again.
Okay.
So, I've told you guys I have like an automatic alarm clock. So even if I don't set my alarm clock, it's set for like 4:10 to go off.
Yeah.
And it'll go off. I mean, I've never, ever slept over in the past maybe 8-9 years. No joke. And this morning, Red decides he wants to go number 2. And it happens about 3 a.m. So he wakes the whole household up,
Hold up real quick.
Yeah.
In the house? Or outside?
Okay. So he is very, very good. He's 2.
He's in teenage stage right now.
He is in teenage
stage.
stage.
All right.
But it's what I want now, and it's not going to go any other way. So he wakes us up. Okay. He goes outside, does his duty, whatever. And I go back to bed. It takes me a minute. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, man. I wake up and I'm like, oh, that was some good sleep there the last, maybe hour, 45 minutes.
Words.
I look at my alarm clock. It's like 4:45. And I'm going, so I felt like, Kevin, that kind of moment.
Yeah.
And Travis immediately goes, okay, calm down. Calm down.
The 2 worst words to say.
Calm down.
Like this. Calm down.
So
has
I'm
anyone
knocking
ever calmed
stuff down. Things are flying off the coffee or the side table. Regardless, I got here. I might look a little disheveled this morning, but I got here. But Red has gotten completely roasted today. He's in the doghouse.
He deserved that. 100%.
I don't like roasting dogs, but here we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he deserved that. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
So I just needed to get that off my chest, roasted this morning and moving on.
What routine broke then? Because when Zeus
getting up that early.
No, I'm talking about because with Zeus, when he pulls that one, he's an old man now.
Yeah.
Okay, his bowel system is way different. Just in general, everything's different with him right now. It's crazy. I've never had a dog this old, but if he doesn't have that last 9 o'clock go out, then I expect to be awakened at 2:40, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And he hadn't done it as of late because we've been good taking him out. But you want to talk about being frigid, letting your dog out because he has to go out. Because the last thing you want is a poopy in the living room, okay?
You do not want
that. You
that.
do not want that in the living room. So did you not take him out, or did he eat something?
So
I'd like to pinpoint it.
Travis did take him out, but I want to say it was maybe a little earlier than usual. And here's the thing. Red's been eating later. So that's just the way he's been doing it. He's kind of trying to get in a routine. So I think eating a little later and not going out late enough really did it. And I gave him a couple green beans yesterday. He loves green beans and veggies.
Okay. I would suggest, what I learned is this. If he's or she, whichever one of you guys have dogs or people have dogs, if they don't eat, pick the bowl up. Because that's a good schedules are huge for dogs, and they'll end up just laying around and just I hated that. I should have did earlier with Zeus.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, pick the bowl up, man, because he'll start just dictating everything in the house at that point too. He's at the testing stage.
I need you in
right
there,
now.
Ramon, the dog trainer.
He's at the testing. Well, I trained Zeus pretty solid. I had a Labrador. I did really, really good. Lady was her name. Oh, she was amazing.
And they train pretty well.
Yeah, they do, but you got to stick with it though. But that whole eating and going out when you want to stuff, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because when they start doing that, it'll never end.
Running the household.
Zeus started doing it just to go outside. Legitimately, he just wanted to go outside. And it was just dude, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We cannot afford this.
Just go run around.
Yeah, you don't pay bills here.
Go see his deer friends.
Exactly.
Well, legitimately. And by the way, when they come back in the fall, I'm charging them rent. They hadn't been back in about a month or two since it's gotten warm and they're in mating season and stuff. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Absolutely not.
Oh, God. Animals, they have our heart, don't they all?
Yeah, they do. Oh. Absolutely. Well, shame on Red. He deserved to be roasted this morning.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Masters yesterday, Justin Rose, the advantage after day one, 7 under. Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, and Ludwig Oberg all tied up at 4 under. Justin Rose is doing that thing again. Where he starts off really quickly.
I heard Mayer speaking about it yesterday. I didn't really catch any of the live footage, but apparently it's hard to go from front to end as it pertains to the finish.
Yeah, no. Yeah, a lot of people say the Masters doesn't start till the second 9 on Sunday, not the back 9.
Really?
Second
on Sunday? Hold up. What's the second 9?
The back 9.
Okay.
You're not allowed to call it the back 9 at the Masters.
Didn't know that.
One of the many things that is different.
Did not realize
like calling
that.
them patrons, not fans.
They call them patrons, not fans.
Correct, because they don't want to be short for fanatic. These are patrons.
Though. I did go down. I didn't go down a rabbit hole. I saw Phil Mickelson's off-white shoes yesterday too. He has some Nike golf shoes. They are fire. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the Jordan 1. His is so clean, man. Oh my gosh,
good.
Phil.
Phil looks good for his age. He lost all that weight,
So money will do.
Years back.
I was
Yeah.
about to say
That's
Right?
that billion to do
It's
it.
like the pictures of Tom Brady from the beginning to the end of his career, like that always say,
Night and day.
"You're not ugly, you're just poor."
Right.
Compared to him,
Right.
Compared to Tom Brady, we all are. So
Yeah.
that's not a dig at anyone.
No,
Right.
for real.
Did you guys hear about the amateur
Yes, peeing in the creek.
peeing in the creek?
Hold up.
Jose Luis Ballester peed in the creek.
Ballester yesterday, the Arizona State guy, not only had
That was my reaction.
an Arizona State Sun Devils hat that was upside down.
Yep.
Like the letters was upside down, like the new style.
The new thing.
Bold for Augusta, if I do say so myself.
I would say so,
That's
too.
bold, like you supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it'd be kind of like wearing something like that to Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For sure. I got you.
Peeing even bolder.
He said it was the loudest cheer he got all day.
Yeah. Got an ovation.
After he was done, he was like, "All right, yeah, golf clap."
So that happens usually?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
That's a normal thing.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering. Like, are they going to let him finish this thing out and just never invite him again? Probably.
No, he'll be all right.
He'll be all right.
Probably get a
All right,
little
well, if that's the
warning.
case, then I mean, maybe they need to unloosen their ties a little bit.
Yeah, Jose Luis Ballester says, quote, I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go. And since JT had an issue on the green, which was common yesterday, I'm like, I'm just going to sneak here in the river and probably people would not see me that much. They clapped for me. Probably one of the claps that I really got today real loud. So that was kind of funny. It was kind of intimidating, though, for Ballester, who shot a 76, but was paired with Scotty and Justin Thomas.
Right.
Jesus.
Scotty particular being paired with him.
He was rolling yesterday,
But
too.
even JT, like, JT's
JT
not
was
that
up and
good
down.
right now. Well, he's actually had a pretty good season, but he has a crowd that likes him, that will follow him, is the reason why, like,
That's me.
being with JT and being with Scotty, like, that's two of the most likable golfers on tour. And with Rory going so much later, like, you could follow that group around. Like, if I was doing the Masters, I'd try to follow a group I wanted to see around. I wouldn't sit at one spot to get the best look at just one hole. I would try to get like a decent look at all of them.
I think I'd switch it up. Like, first day, I'd probably follow my guy, and then I'd probably sit at the next one. You're probably going to be sore. You got to walk it with him, right?
No, I know. It'd be like a new pair of shoes kind of situation.
Yeah. No,
Getting your steps that
100%.
weekend, that's for sure.
Easily will get your
doubt.
steps in.
No doubt.
But it looked fun yesterday, though. The greens looked like,
It's immaculate.
So nice.
yeah. It was nice, man.
It's the best sports has to offer.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, like, I think the Super Bowl the biggest event, right? I think the NCAA is the biggest pure, just let me love my team stuff, national championship, all that. But looking at the Masters, nobody's doing it at that level, I don't feel
That
like.
environment is just second to none, you know?
And then, too, like the crowd size. Like, so you can be a little bit more intimate, a little bit more elegant.
That's what's great
It was
about
nice.
golf. I don't know if you've ever been. I know Will's
like
probably
that.
been, but it is the most
actually never
up
have.
close and personal. That's why when I covered golf in Columbus, it was probably one of the coolest things that I covered, the PGA, because you're just up close and personal with all those guys.
I
pretty
see.
cool.
It's a different.
Coming up, a lot of news and conversation out of Knoxville yesterday about Nico Iamaleava and a new NIL deal. We'll tell you what you need to know coming up next.
It's Ramon Foss for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, man. They've been in business since 1990 and are family owned and operated. Jimmy Hiller was recently named amongst the most admired CEOs, and that's because of the way he truly cares for his team and his clients. I, myself, am my client, okay? And I enjoy having Hiller come over to my house because they take care of me every single time and they stand behind their work. Their guarantee is this: 100% happy you'll bill, the service is free. If a customer isn't pleased with the work performed, they will make it right, man. They always send a professional, experienced, trustworthy technicians into your home to fix whatever you have going on, and they always finish the job and they always leave it cleaner than when they came in. Listen, they also offer true transparency pricing. What this is Hiller will line item every part of the job up front so homeowners easily understand what they're paying for and why. Listen, to book plumbing, heating, cooling, or electrical, reach out to the company I trust at happyhiller.com.
Friday morning, RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling. On threes, Pete Nakos says that Tennessee and Nico Iamaleava are in active contract negotiations ahead of the 2025 season. The original report yesterday says that in a move many around the program expected, On Three has learned that Nico and Tennessee are in active negotiations on a new NIL deal ahead of the 2025 season. It remains unclear if those negotiations will impact Iamaleava's decision regarding the spring transfer portal. The issue at hand is that Iamaleava's multi-million-dollar deal was one of the first large NIL contracts. Guys, we know from a lot of reporting that $8 million number tied to Nico. Well, I think people believed that was $8 million a year. It never was. That was $8 million total of what this could be through his career. We all know that lesser quarterbacks are being paid more around college football. We will get to the CBS Sports report that came late last night in just a moment as well. But guys, what was your initial reaction seeing this news and report come out yesterday?
Mine personally was just like, this is business as usual. You'd have caught me 2-3 years ago, I'd have been like, man, what the heck? This sucks. No, what? Like, and personally, I'd have been that way. Now look at it. This is business as usual. Heck, this is the same model that NFL players follow. Like TJ Watt yesterday posted the tweet with the peace sign. He was like, TJ, brother, have a seat. Like, I love you, but like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like my friend, like, I get it. This is what happens. Again, I continue to say, like, if you're in situations where you know your value is there, you go for it. Trey Hendrickson on a professional level is doing the exact same thing. There's a blurred line right now between what they do in the NFL and college. And this is all a part of valuation for me. Business as usual.
Yeah, I saw it. And the first thing I did was I had to really read the article because I didn't know if this was something immediately that was going on. Like, this time of year seems a little strange when you're just in the middle of spring football. You've got the scrimmage, the final game, I should say, on Saturday for spring, and this pops up. So I had to make sure that was correct. But when it comes down to it, I agree, Ramon. I mean, I'm not surprised by Nico Iamaleava, whether it's his camp or him, wanting a new deal, because this is the day and age we live in. And because he was one of the first negotiated NIL contracts, that was 2 years ago. And so, right, 2+ years ago.
I think it's almost closer to 3.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And look at how much has changed since then, and how much, just like in the NFL, value goes up every year because more money's being brought in. Oh. So I actually don't even fault the situation for wanting more money if that is really the case. It's just the timing that shakes me a little, just because you're about to enter a new season.
So Miami's Carson Beck and Duke's Darian Mintz both signed contracts this offseason worth more than $3 million annually. Reports to On Three say that Nico's deal is somewhere between $2.2 and $2.5 million. We will get answers as much as we can from Brent Hubs, also coming up at 7:20. So if you want the authority on this, we will go to the authority on it at 7:20. And again, there's a lot of talk in Knoxville right now. So then you have the report from CBS Sports last night that a close family friend says, well, they're good. They're happy. Cordell Landers, a close friend of the Iamaleavas, tells CBS Sports last night, quote, the family are happy with Tennessee. There are no contract negotiations. They are happy with the contract that they have. Landers is a former assistant director of player personnel at Florida who works with a number of notable players from California. Then you have Nick Iamaleava, Nico's dad, going on Twitter last night. Says more games being played off the field than on the field. Calls Pete Nakos a name that I'm not going to repeat because I can't on the air. Says Nakos from On Three called me and asked directly. I told him I had no idea on what he's talking about. He said his quote close source that he trusts with his life from the University of Tennessee staff gave him this information. So y'all can ask them what's going on because it ain't from us.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of different roads you can go down in this conversation right there. Hearing from his dad is this though too. Like the blowback on social media wasn't nice. Like Vols fans, like Vol Twitter is toxic. Like and here's what I would tell Vols Twitter too, and fans of like college sports, you have the right to be upset. You do. You absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and tell any fan of any fan base or any anti-NIL supporter or adversary that, look, you shouldn't be upset about this. You should if you feel that way. But this is just what's allowed right now. It's just like certain people get like loopholes in their taxes, and like you wish you could have those same loopholes. Like this is the exact. Is it not though, Will, Kayla? Like
that's a great way to put it.
That's essentially what's like. If you can, you do.
Right.
And the other part, too, is the valuation of, like, again, quarterbacks and just people who are stars. Like, I had somebody tell me one time, you know why receivers get so, like, finicky about, like, their pay, the touches they get on the football? It's because, like, when you're the best of the best and you're that important, as soon as somebody's on your heels, you feel nervous. You feel like you're less than. And that could be monetary. That could be, like, stats, right?
Sure.
But the other side of this, Will, is like this. For me, David Sanders came in, and, I mean, he's probably making more, allegedly. I'm not sure.
I would
Nico,
guess a little. Don't you?
Or
I
I'm just not him
I don't know that
necessarily,
for
but
sure,
like the gap between like what a quarterback make and everybody else
The market's risen.
is usually
But again,
significantly
he
different.
signed it almost 3 years
3
ago.
years ago. at
Yesterday's
this point.
price is not today's price. And
No.
in a world where everyone can renegotiate every year, I don't think you can blame Nico Iamaleava for this. I think that will be the easy opinion is, oh, how dare Nico go ask for more money? Well, why shouldn't he? Let's start there. The facts of what we know. Austin Price has said on this show and has said time and time again, Nico does not have a new deal. We know for a fact that Nico Iamaleava is still operating on the original contract that he signed. Well, when you're looking around and seeing freshmen like Bryce Underwood get $3 million, who have not taken a snap yet, and other guys who you feel like are below you in the food chain of quarterbacking, getting more money to transfer to SEC schools, what do you want him to do? I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
What's Tennessee supposed to do? Say, nah, we're good. We'll roll with Jake Merklinger. Like, respectfully to Jake Merklinger, who I think has had a really good spring, that's not in Tennessee's best interest either. So in a world where there are no contract lengths and people in camps, I'll say, I'm choosing my words carefully, people in your camp are allowed to negotiate for you and not actual agents, this is what you get. And until the NCAA mandates in some way that accredited agents are the ones that negotiate these things, this is the world we're going to live in. And quite honestly, that's probably not even going to fix it either. Because in the NFL, these are adults. These are adults who don't have, people around them that are facilitating things for them because their agent's going to call them and say, hey, buddy, what the heck? What are you doing? Let me do my job. That's not happening in college sports right now, and I'm not going to blame Nico Iamaleava for that. If I'm a Tennessee fan, which I am, obviously, I am not going to blame Nico, the person, for what is going on. I think this is more about the situation and the people and the circumstances surrounding Nico Iamaleava more so than it is him personally. That is what I think based on everything we know and everything I've heard out of Knoxville.
What we know is this: when you're usually first in line, the second person always gets more. And then when you become a starter and you wait your time for 2 years behind Hendon and also Joe Milton and it's your show, you're going to ask for more too. And for me, like, I'm looking at this top like 12. Nico's 12th on this list as far as NIL goes right now. The guys in front of him, Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik. And I'll do the football.
What list is this?
This is On3 NIL valuation.
Valuation, okay.
Yeah, the valuation side.
That
so
is,
it's not
I think,
official.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
it's not official.
Kind of
But, like,
guesstimating.
It's a good tool, though.
to the point, though, like Jeremiah Smith, who's that good, though, too, he's ahead of him. Carson Beck is allegedly ahead of Nico in
He
this
is.
one, too. Yeah.
And this is marketability.
Yeah.
This is not talent level or skill level. This is a lot of factors. I mean, Livy Dunn is number 4 on this list.
Absolutely. And the other side of it, though, is like considering the circumstance that college presents itself to, where you have your starters and then behind them is a young kid out of high school, right? The leverage goes to the starter. It goes directly to the starter, his camp, his wants and needs also. And the other side, like, I just want to pull back the dark side real quick of what the NIL business is too, in a sense. Like, a lot of these people get money up front. And I'm not saying this is Nico's situation at all. It's just all the stories and nightmares that you hear. A lot of people get this money up front, and then it's a 1099 pay. You're not an employee. You get an endorsement. So what happens at the end of the year for the most part, right? With a lot of these people that may be asking for new money, like there's a lot of people that ask for new money because they can't afford to pay the taxes from the previous year. Like, these situations come up and nobody speaks about them. Not saying that's their situation at all. But what I'm alluding to is you never know how much money was spent, how much was actually paid out, because the $8 million valuation or alleged deal over 4 years that they gave Nico may have just been, let's just go 1.2 up front. Uncle Sam gonna come get half of that.
Yeah.
And at that point, we're working with $600,000 on top of all expenses, on top of your adjustment to lifestyle. And then we get the next year's check. Oh, we still got to pay taxes on that too. On top of another move, like, lifestyle changes happen also. So a lot of this may be because mismanagement of funds for not just him, but like other people surrounding the situation, or their NIL from USC to Texas, wherever. Like, that stuff happens, and we don't speak about that too. So who knows what their scenario is, or anybody else's for that case. If you have the power to do that, you more than likely will. I'll be completely honest with you. If I was in my senior year and we had just had RJ at this point and I was a known starter going into my last year, I'm probably going to go back to the table, because I got to try to see if I can afford to pay for my kid. That's my responsibility, but you also allow me to do this, so I'm going to go do it. Like this, Congress has to step in at this point.
Yeah, and I was, for the fans that are frustrated because they don't feel like Nico Iamaleava has proven that he deserves this money, you can feel that way, absolutely. However, just like in the NFL, and when you kind of are beneath the pay structure that has been kind of revamped,
It's set.
You have to, in a way, do something. And I'm not saying he's the one doing it specifically, because all of these players have camps around them now, right? They have people that surround them, that give them advice, or that make some decisions. And it almost would be stupid for them to just sit back and relax with the current deal they have and let all these other quarterbacks just continue to make new deals when you're playing at one of the bigger SEC programs, one of the bigger programs in the country when it comes to football. And nowadays, and that's part of the SEC too, it's a big time football conference. It's the best football conference. And guess what? Unfortunately, you got to deal with that as a university too, because you're going to have to pay your players, especially quarterbacks.
You do.
So on Facebook Live this morning, Gary hits us up and says, I don't think he showed he was worth a pay raise for a young kid that did not show that much last year. Can you all tell us what Nico's stats were for last season? We can, Gary. He completed 63.8% of his passes for 2,600 yards. That's just over 200 yards per game. 7.8 yards per completion, 19 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Against Ohio State in the college football playoff, he was 14 of 31 for 104 yards. He was sacked 4 times, did not have a touchdown, and did not have an interception. So similarly to the way as Titans media, we talk about Dan Moore, your new left tackle. What did Ramon tell us about that? The play doesn't always dictate the money that you get. The market does. And Dan Moore is a player who is a good left tackle with traits, with potential, with upward mobility to be a great left tackle, potentially in the right system. I would argue the same is true of Nico Iamaleava, who had a fine season last year, wasn't amazing, didn't live up to the Heisman expectations that myself and many others said were maybe within the realm of possibility for him, but he was good. He led Tennessee to the college football playoff. They beat their 2 biggest rivals. That gets you a lot of jerseys put on kids in the crowd if you're Nico. But the market is dictating what's going on with Nico right now, not his play. And the fact that transfer quarterbacks are going to SEC schools and Power 4 schools for $3 million, and he feels like and rightfully so. He is better than a lot of those quarterbacks, and he's making 2.2. It makes sense since there's no time frame on his contract for his camp to go back to UT and say, hey, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yep.
Facts. I mean, to your same point about like guys, like the unfairness of what's being paid out, right? Like you got quarterbacks, in my opinion, and I like Geno, but Geno getting, what is it, $45 million a year for 2 years? I never saw that coming. The market set that price for Geno, right? Like Tua Tagovailoa, another quarterback, like probably unjustifiably got paid over $200 million because what has he done other than just be the quarterback? These are the lifestyles we're playing right now in the NFL. Like, and I think one of the biggest sticking points was the Tulane quarterback transfer.
Darian Mensah go to Duke.
Darian Mensah, right? Jarian Mensah going to Duke, allegedly for $5.
Yeah.
So here's the way you look at it.
It's like Christian Kirk resetting the receiver market with the Jacks.
Exactly.
Easily. Yes, sir.
Not the best.
Absolutely. Not the best, but the potential of what he could do for you and the fact that
he could be a stud this year.
But you need it too, right?
Sure.
Like if I'm Nico and my mind says, look, y'all, we're going to the league no matter what this year. Well, guess what we need to do? See if we can get one more bag. That guy at Duke just got 5. We can at least get something more, right? Because I know I played more than he did, and it's unproven, and we in the SEC.
You don't have to like it.
No.
College football fans and sports fans and Tennessee fans, you don't have to like any of this. Feel the way you want to feel. The only thing I would argue is don't hold it personally against the kid himself and Nico Iamaleava himself, because a lot of the expectations that were put on him were put on him by the same people now that are grilling him on social media. Like, he didn't put that on himself. We did. And I'll raise my hand and say I put too high of expectations on him. I think we all did.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that's a part of it. But I wouldn't blame him personally.
No. And that's the difference you got to say. And I know people, it is so dang frustrating. College football is not what it used to be. Right. I get it in that aspect. And it is kind of sad in some ways, but this is what it is. And the kids are a part of this now. Like, this is a new generation. This is what college football has incorporated in it. So you just, like Will said, you can't get mad at the individual players because Nico's a good kid. I think he's going to be successful, and he's got to stay on top of it in terms of, you can't get behind. The market is always ever changing.
Let's go to Lou in Brentwood first up this morning, 615-737-1045. Hey, Lou.
This is Lou. I think you do this. The kid deserves a raise because he's eligible for a raise. Any one of you, if you were given the opportunity to make more money, you would. And so I can't see that anybody's dogging them. His statistics were decent. They weren't horrible. They weren't dominant statistics. But don't compare him to the left tackle that everybody's saying is, this guy ripped off the Titans with that contract. Because even the going rate was way too high. I mean, even if you say an offensive tackle is a premier position, which it is, he still got paid very well. This guy was not even a backup Pro Bowler, and he gave up like 12 sacks last year.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, but again, Lou, to your point, thank you for the call. It's the exact same argument that you just made. He was eligible for a raise.
A raise, yeah.
In a market where not a lot of other options were available for you to pick. So it's supply and demand. It's the exact same situation.
You talking about Nico or
Dan Moore?
Oh,
he was also eligible for a raise.
No, he
in a market where you didn't have a lot of other options.
Tackles are rare.
With Nico right now, you don't have a lot of other options, and he's eligible for a raise. It's the exact same situation.
Oh, yeah. I thought he was actually comparing them one-to-one like it was okay.
He was saying I shouldn't compare him.
Oh, no. Never mind. I thought I heard him wrong then. I thought he said it was about as even as it could get. It's fair, though. I'm glad everybody's, been sensible about it. You don't have to be, is what I'm saying. And I don't know anything of the details as it pertains to what he's got going on. But again, this is the new wave right now. And I feel like something's going to have to happen the same way it did with Matthew Stafford and Sam Bradford when they came in. And then they reset the market and the cap structure as far as negotiating contracts at that point.
More of your phone calls on this, 615-737-1045 coming up. We talk about OGs and old guys. There's that 3HL conversation, a promo that runs the station. Like, OG, old guy. Well, an old guy did something great in sports yesterday. We'll talk about that next. What's going on? You've heard me talk about how Lead Company makes life better for homeowners and facility managers. But did you know they do the same for their team? It's Will Bowling here from my friends at Lead Company. If you're looking for a rewarding career, Lead Company, they're hiring skilled tradespeople in HVAC, plumbing, electrical, sheet metal, and more. With 80-plus years in the business, Lead Company, they invest in their award-winning team with training, benefits, and real career growth. You got to apply today at leadcompany.com/career if you're interested. That's leadcompany.com/careers. And work with the folks who have been doing business here in Middle Tennessee for over 80 years. You're in business that long, you learn how to do things the right way. Lead Company with 14 community locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama. Over 1,700 employees, over 1,000 vehicles in their fleet. It's a team that you want to be a part of if you're out there in the job market. Apply today at leadcompany.com/careers. One more time. That's leadcompany.com/careers. Lead Company, all you need. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. I give you permission to treat yourself this morning. You can just tell whoever, you're 10 minutes late to work. No, Will from the Zone gave me permission to go scoot on down to Scooters and get a maple waffle breakfast sandwich. No, he's the one that told me this mango protein smoothie in my hand. Here, have a sip. It's tremendous. I needed this today. But anyway, it's early enough still. You got time. You can build time into your day.
You can.
Build time into your day now, and you'll still be on time for everything. 65-year-old Fred Couples got after it yesterday. I love everything about this story. So Fred Couples has one of the smoothest swings ever in golf. 2 years after becoming the oldest player to ever make the cut at the Masters, he opened up his 40th appearance. Think about that. 40 appearances at the Masters. 40 of them. By shooting a 1 under 71, becoming the second oldest player to shoot under par in any Masters round. Couples said afterwards, I'm exhausted. I can play golf. I can play around here. If the weather is like this and not hard, I can, as long as I don't do crazy things. I can shoot 73 or 4 or 5. That's not embarrassing at all. 1 month younger than Tom Watson, who did this in 2015 when he shot a 71 and hit 12 of 14 fairways. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to live. Live in the middle of the fairway. You're going to have a lot of good options. But Fred Couples is electric. His eagle from 186 yards out at 14. The reason why he was able to do this.
He's, 67, and he makes it...
65.
Sorry, 65. Makes it look like he's not that age. Like you said, the smooth swing. But just to be that, I guess, solid when you go to a tournament like that. I was reading... yesterday that he's made the cut at the Masters 31 of the 39 that he's played in. That's pretty impressive to make just the cut at the Masters. It is just such a difficult course, and everything, doesn't always go according to plan. So the consistency even at Augusta for him is pretty impressive, even with the age part of it thrown in there.
I immediately go sports guy on this one and tell all parents to your kids, technique saves you at the end of the day, okay?
You're not wrong.
Legitimately.
Especially in this sport.
I'm telling you, in anything, like your technique is going to save you. That's why you drill over and over again, man. There's muscle memory at that point. I just want to know, what does he mean by as long as I don't do crazy things? What are crazy things for him at 65?
Golf course, how long do you have? Plenty of options.
There's plenty of options for crazy stuff.
On that course, it's like putting a 3-wood in your hand when you should be laying up with a 7-iron. Like things like that. Like going for, on amen corner, like going for it on the par 5 when you've got a little creek that's short. If you don't get it totally flush, you're going to roll in the creek, and then you're scrambling at that point.
There's some people listening, you speak that right now, just rubbing their hands like, tell them, Will. Tell them, Will. But that's fascinating, man. Shout out to him, man. 65, being able to do that type of stuff is phenomenal. And he walked it, too?
Oh, yeah, you have to.
You have to walk it.
Come on, man.
That's the biggest thing that's a challenge
course.
for Tiger, which this season, Tiger popped his Achilles, so he's out. But this is one of the hardest courses to walk because it's so hilly. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that doesn't show up on TV. I mean, I can't say I've been there, obviously. I've not seen it with my own 2 eyes, but that is what people will tell you who know a lot more than me about it, that it doesn't translate on TV how hilly it is.
Right.
Is he?
That's facts.
Was that a one-timer for him, y'all think, or he going back today?
We'll see.
I think it's hard to follow up something like that, especially at that age. And things can turn so quick on a Friday.
Seriously.
So
he wasn't totally healthy last year. He said he didn't have the right clubs in his bag to play what is now a longer Augusta National because the course has had to be lengthened for the heavy hitters. Because you want a little bit of strategy when you're designing these things. Like you want difficult decisions to where if Bryson DeChambeau hits a 325-yard drive, he doesn't just already have a wedge in his hand. Like you want to force him to try to decide to go for it or lay up. And you want to force golfers to like strategize on these very challenging courses.
I'll have to look this up, but you say moving or making it longer, like legitimately, are they like deconstructing the...
Sometimes.
Wow, that's a quick
gotta
turnaround.
put the tee box back, or
that's what I was just thinking. Like, I know they can move the hole in the tees back. Like, I know they can do that. But like moving the fairways and extending it, they got like tractors out there.
You wouldn't believe the amount of data that goes into a lot of their decisions to where they place the hole and where they place the tee boxes, even just putting up new trees or cutting down trees that allow you to take a sharper angle. So Hurricane Helene took away some of the trees on the long par 5 on the first 9 at Augusta. So it allows golfers to now take a more aggressive angle to go over an angle and cut it over pine straw and trees where they would have had to go around it. So now you can take a longer tee shot, and it allows you to hit an easier second shot and have a better chance to score.
Understood.
So if you put a tree up there,
Yo.
you either have to really take a risk and go over it and hit a incredible tee shot, or you just lay it up around and then force yourself to take a shorter second shot and try to get there in 3 versus 2.
Understood.
What's also interesting when you watch the Masters, and if you're an early tee time versus a later tee time, because of all the dew and it's wet in the morning, those greens are a bit softer.
Slow it down.
And they slow it down. Where you saw later in the day, and McIlroy, specifically Rory McIlroy, the greens were pretty hard. And I think it was on 15 where he took a turn for the worst. They're fast, right? And so it's harder for them to stick and stay in place, and which can make things more difficult. So it was interesting watching just the drastic difference between the early tee times and the later ones too.
Yeah, Rory fell apart on the second 9 because he couldn't keep the ball out of the water.
Yeah.
It's my excuse whenever I go bowling and I can't get the ball to spin right.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
the greens are unjoined. The greens are a little quick today.
Yeah.
The oil on the lanes.
Yeah,
are a little
exactly.
quick today.
Slick today.
They're playing firm. Yeah, no doubt. Let's go to Marcus. Wants to talk about Nico. 615-737-1045. Hey, Marcus.
All I gotta say is y'all stay out that man's pockets, man. This man want to get more money, let him get more money. Ain't nobody trying to. When you get a raise for not doing your job, you ain't saying that. Nobody ain't saying that to you.
Yeah.
So leave that man alone, let him get his money. Everybody else getting their money.
Yep.
Shoot, I know a lot of supervisors out here. I mean, that ain't supervisors. I know people that got tags like a supervisor. Don't get the pay. If you out there playing, and everybody else get more money this year, why can't he get more money if these other people ain't even play to play?
Exactly.
Leave Nico alone, let him get his money, man.
There it is.
Preach, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate the call.
Yeah, right? Like you're going to turn down a raise. I mean, come on now.
I'm on a raise right
what
now.
What are we doing?
Any chance I can get?
Me too.
I think the issue is not as much him getting more money. I think the issue is the timing of how this has all gone down.
Sure.
Leverage.
Yeah.
And again, how much did he have to do with the timing part?
Leverage.
Bobby is up next. 615-737-1045. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
How long do you think we are away from contracts in college ball? I mean, everybody wants more money, which is understandable. But in order for the colleges to recoup their money, or if you want to go here, they're going to have to buy out your contract. I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Bobby. That's a question we will ask Brent Hubs coming up in a half hour. Here's my thing, though, on contracts. You're still going to have uncles, cousins, brothers reaching out for you on behalf of teams because these are 18 to 21-year-olds. That's, I think, the problem, is that you're still going to have a lot of these same issues where guys' camps, quote unquote, are trying to broker things to me, contracts are lesser. The extent of it is you can buy out of a contract if a team is desperate enough.
But at least you get that back.
It's the bigger concern for me is agents need to be credited agents that go through a vetting process to become agents, like in the NFL, need to be the people brokering said contracts. That is the bigger issue than contracts being required, because a lot of these guys already have contracts.
Yeah.
Right.
From what I do know, though, CAA is in it. Athletes First is in
They are in it.
But to your point,
But so are guys' uncles.
They're
So
not
are
yet.
guys as cousins.
Yeah, girlfriends.
So are private quarterback coaches.
No, girlfriends.
So are girlfriends. So are aunts. There are so many people around these players giving them advice in their best interest and not their player's best interest. And until that is fixed, it doesn't matter if we have contracts, in my opinion.
I feel like we've show has brought that up numerous times.
We have.
Contracts.
We have been
For
banging
sure.
this drum for a long time.
Yeah, we're pro contract.
In the NFL, you have to go through a process to be allowed to broker deals. There is no process in college athletics.
There needs to be.
There is nothing.
Yes.
There needs to be.
615-737-1045 is our number. Hour 2 on deck. Draft intel about what's going to happen behind the Titans in the NFL draft. Some interesting stuff we learned yesterday from some national reporters that we like, and that's next. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Hey, you've heard me talk about the car buying process and seeing the words buy here, pay here. I want to tell you why Nolensville Road Auto Mart is different in that category. It is the place that you can absolutely trust, a place you should go, and they're different for a few simple reasons. They have been doing business in Nashville at Nolensville Road Auto Mart for 61 years. They're Nashville natives. That means something to me, probably means something to many of you as well. They only sell clean title cars under $12,000. If you're new to town and you need a place to trust, they got you. Maybe you need that first car for the new driver in your family. They can do that too. 615-242-1279. That's where you go to give them a call. You don't even need to take my word for it if you don't want to. The Google reviews, they are excellent. You know that's saying something for a car dealership. One location, they'll get you in and out in an hour or less, and they're the oldest buy here, pay here in Nashville. 615-242-1279. Flexibility, transparency, and honesty. That's why I recommend Nolensville Road Auto Mart. Call them at 615-242-1279.
7:01 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Indianapolis Colts released kicker Matt Gay yesterday. The move comes just 2 years after he became the NFL's highest-paid kicker. Gay had 2 years remaining on his $22.5 million contract, and the move saves the Colts $2.75 million. And to the ice where the Nashville Predators last night beat the Utah Hockey Club 4-3 in a shootout as Philip Forsberg put a backhander past Utah's Karel Vejmelka to secure the Preds' second straight win. Nashville was 2 for 3 on the power play and killed both of Utah's advantages. The Preds are back on the ice tomorrow night in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. Puck drop starts at 9 p.m. The Tennessee Vols orange and white game is tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. While the game will not be broadcasted or streamed on TV, you can hear the first call of Mike Keith, Ramon Foster, and the rest of the Vol Network crew right here on 104.5 The Zone starting at 1 p.m. And a Masters update. After round one took place yesterday, Englishman Justin Rose matched his best round at the Masters going 7 under par. Rose is a 3-shot leader going into round 2 today, and tied for second at 4 under par is Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, and Ludwig Aberg. Bryson DeChambeau sits 3 under par, and Roy McIlroy shot an even par. And Fred Couples at age 65 became the second oldest player to break par at the Masters, shooting a 71. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Friday morning, RKW on your radios and streaming live on your smart devices as well. 104.5 The Zone TV. That's where you get Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, myself, Will Bowling. Jayhawk, Justin Hawkins is our producer. And the number is 615-737-1045 if you want to join in on the foolishness. Question on ESPN.com says, are the Browns listening to potential trade offers for the number 2 pick? Daniel Oyafuzi, I'm probably butchering that, of ESPN.com, says that Browns general manager Andrew Berry said only that he's pretty open to anything that can be advantageous to us. A deal is possible for a front office that prefers to trade back, but the Browns have also gushed about the chance of getting a blue chip prospect. There's that BC word again.
Sure is.
With the second pick. Does the draft start at 2 or 3? At this point, or even really 4, because it does feel like, and we'll get more into it, the Browns and Giants are starting to close in on decisions similarly to the way the Titans have closed in on Cam Ward.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it starts at 2, easily. I mean, because what are they? The Titans are in, I think, the biggest need as far as quarterback more than any other franchise right now. So for me, it starts at 2. There's no reason for anybody to be calling at this moment right here. Like, he's the guy, especially after hearing all the validation he's gotten over the last, 2+ weeks. Like, Louis Rigg is a guy that I trust when it comes down to his evaluation. He's interviewed for GM jobs before. He has that it factor when it comes down to it. And I don't think H would be in a position to pay him to give an opinion on Cam Ward or anything like that. The draft starts at 2, specifically because Myles Garrett needs something in Cleveland, and he's alluded to that other than the $40 million a year that they gave him. He's trying to win football games. Sure. So as much as they can stack that team up, they do.
And you wonder, too, when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, we've heard Kirk Cousins' name attached to the Browns often in terms of the last maybe month or so. I know Diana Rossini is one of the reporters that continuously links him to there. So it seems like possibly they could have their quarterback solution, and maybe, again, why they've gone backwards in terms of really wanting a Shedeur Sanders if he falls in that spot, obviously, because the Titans are probably taking Cam Ward. And then it brings you to the question, too. I think it starts at 2 as well, because could they do something else? Could they trade back in terms of the Browns? What could happen with the Giants? Maybe they don't take, who you expect them to take. What if they do take Shedeur? I just think there's so many things that could still happen with those two teams specifically. While it seems that they're keying in on Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. I still think there's options for them, that there's stuff that could happen right before the draft.
My question real quick, though, too, is the Browns bringing this up as far as looking for another blue chipper. Like, this is why you just got to get it right at times, too. Y'all know how I feel about the franchise. Not in a bad way, but just like, when are you going to get it together? Because they've been bad for so long, and they've been able to pick numerous times in the top 10 for blue chip players. Like, since I was in the league, Alex Mack, I thought he ended up going to Atlanta. But I'll go through, like, Joe Hayden was a blue chipper.
Oh, yeah.
Never got anything out of him. Man, Phil Taylor, they missed somewhat. Trent Richardson, number 3 overall.
Forgot about Trent Richardson.
Swing and a miss.
And I'll just stop there. No, I'll go a couple more. Just 2 more, y'all. Barkevius Mingo, Wolf, Justin Gilbert.
Jeez Louise.
Like, they've been here before. At what point do you start building a team that's going to just be competitive, man? Like, their best one as of late has just been Myles Garrett, to be completely honest with you.
It does feel to me like the draft starts at 4.
You think 4?
I think picks 2 and 3 are maybe done deals. I think Travis Hunter to Cleveland is a done deal. I think that is totally done. Jordan Reed yesterday says, what we're hearing about the Browns draft, what the Browns do at 2 could send the draft in several directions. Huge hole at quarterback. Seems likely they would go with the best available player on their board, picking either Abdul Carter to play opposite Myles Garrett. Could you imagine? Or wide receiver / corner Travis Hunter for an additional playmaker. The Browns will at some point select a quarterback in this draft. Since they own the top pick in the second round, don't be surprised if they use that or other picks to trade back into round 1 for their signal caller. FanDuel Sportsbook this morning. Odds for the number 2 overall pick. Travis Hunter is minus 310. Abdul Carter is plus 190. You can get Shedeur Sanders to go number 2 overall to Cleveland at plus 1,700 odds. Let's go down to the Giants. Number 3 overall pick. Abdul Carter to go 3, minus 200, according to Vegas. Travis Hunter, plus 270. Shedeur Sanders is plus 420 to go 3rd overall. I think the draft starts at 4.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you.
Yeah. I just look at it like the fact they're speaking about trades right now. Maybe they're just not as settled as they want to be, or this is, hey, we're the new number 1 pick for as far as the Cleveland Browns is considered for a team way behind them. Mine is just a transaction of the number 2 overall pick. But I'm with you. I think Travis goes there or Abdul. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I'd take that Abdul. If I could bet on it, I'd take that Abdul.
I mean, they're the
Cleveland.
2 best on the board at that point, hands down, because they're honestly graded better than a Cam Ward. But in terms of needs, like, you're not going to pass over on Cam Ward if you're the Titans.
And
so,
to your point, they got the option of Kirk.
Yes.
Right? Also, in that conversation, I like Kirk. I know we love Kirk as a person, as a human being, but is he the one that's going to get them over? Is he the one that's going to get them over the hump for a Super Bowl?
For a Super Bowl, no. Over the hump to make the playoffs, maybe.
Yeah, because they do have talent there.
They got a ton.
They've got a ton of it. They got to right the ship a little, though.
So got a hard division to play in, though.
That's the summer conversation for us at some point. What's your goal as a fan? Is it to consistently make the playoffs? Because I know a fan base in Western Pennsylvania that's black and gold.
Not good enough.
That hate just making the playoffs.
And so did this one, 4 years ago?
Now they'll take it.
That's true.
Now the Browns are like,
we're not that far
there.
removed from saying Tannehill's good, but he's not great. So let's look at other options. Like, I'd kill for good.
It's just that,
quick.
Yeah, I know, for real. Like, just being good settles the stomach a whole lot better than walking in knowing you about to get your face bashed in.
He could be a bridge in a way, I think.
To set
Yeah, to kind of reset.
I mean, I think he's a better option than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
yes.
No doubt. I definitely believe that, but it's fascinating that I do think they have some type of leverage to try to go get a guy like Kirk Cousins to really reset them. Because, again, you do got to listen to your stars on the team. Like, the coaches are important, the owner is way important, but the product on the field is what matters and what they want. And that sucks to say that. As much as we're talking about NIL and power and money and stuff like that in college, the product on the field is what matters the most, and you got to appease them to a certain point.
How nervous / excited are you to be the color analyst on the Vol Network officially for the first time tomorrow?
I have a little bit of both.
Are you going to
be real
sleep?
with you? I I'm gonna have to.
I wonder though.
Yeah.
I get so anxious when I'm doing something or going on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually sleep the night before. Not because I'm nervous, but I'm like excited.
I had a night like that last night thinking of it. Like
Okay.
I was sleep thinking last night, legitimately.
Yeah, I kind of like sleep thinking.
Well, I do until you crash.
Until you're up.
Until you wake up the next morning.
Crash.
Right.
But last night we were at an awesome place. We were in East Robinson. By the way, their baseball field is phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. There's some great folks out there too. They were just like they walked up to me because I've been there before where my sons play at. It was like, we're excited for you. He's like, okay, keep saying
A lot
that.
of loyal zone listeners out there.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to Mac. I think
Absolutely.
Mac is out there. Big Mac. What's his name?
Big
Orange Mac?
Big Orange Mac.
Big Orange Mac.
He's out there. That's his people. But it was a lot of folks just tapped me on the shoulder and was like, hey, we're excited to have a VFL in the booth. And I was just like, y'all are making me more nervous.
Coming up, another man who will join you on that broadcast, VolQuest's Brent Hubs joins us. The latest on Nico Iamaleava's contract negotiation transfer portal saga is after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Two Rivers Ford, man, and they've got a huge announcement for you right now from Two Rivers Ford. Just in, Two Rivers Ford is now offering employee pricing for everyone. Yes, this means you pay what they pay on almost every new Ford on the lot. And at Two Rivers Ford, what you see is always what you get, man. They don't do things like add expensive accessories or tack on service packages to increase the price of the vehicle. Absolutely not. Two Rivers Ford is upfront and honest every single time, and now they are offering you employee pricing. You know you've always heard about this. I want what the dealer pays. Well, now you can do that, man. There's no better time to buy American. There's no better dealership than Two Rivers Ford. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, home of the non-commissioned sales team, and now home to employee pricing for everyone. From America for America, Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone rolls on this Friday edition. A beautiful day in Middle Tennessee. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined, as we are at this time every Friday morning, by our good friend Brent Hubs of VolQuest and On 3 with lots to get into. Brent, I say that every week. Good morning, but it is especially a good time to have you on today, considering some of the news yesterday. What's going on?
And what a great song, too. Friends in Low Places. Huh. Perfect setting for Brent Hubs.
Well done. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that I'm the guy that's in the ditch for you, Ramon. I'm always going to be down at the dump to pick you up. But I am impressed that you are going through the playlist that I've been sending. Well done, my
yes,
friend.
Sir.
Win the week.
Yes, sir. Hey, me, Brad, and Philip will have a playlist driving up today, okay? Just so you know, I've reserved hip-hop, okay, for night times, all right? And because of that, we will be playing country and slow jams, all right?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, Brent, we begin with the big story and a lot of reporting, a lot of buzz around Nico Iamaleava, a new NIL deal, and maybe even transfer portal yesterday. What do we know, Brent? Let's start there with just the facts of what is going on as Tennessee gets ready for a spring game tomorrow and now has this come out about their quarterback.
Well, what we know is that Nico's going to go through the spring game tomorrow. Obviously, there is a report by Pete Nakos from On 3 saying they were negotiating or renegotiating on his contract. Pete wrote that story for whatever for his reasons. He had multiple sources that he felt comfortable with saying that this was going on. Last night, Nico's father went to Twitter and said sternly that the story was inaccurate and was wrong. And Cordell Landers, who is a close friend, confidant of the family, came out and said not only was the story wrong, but that Nico was very happy with the current deal he's on. Everything's good. Everything's great at Tennessee. So what's the truth? And this is the hard part, and I'm not going to try to ramble all morning in this segment because nobody wants me to do that. But this is the challenge in covering NIL. Because there is no FOIing an NIL contract. You can't find out what somebody's deal is because it's through a third party. So there is no state law that says a public institution has to give you all the information about that. We know that fans want to know, or they think they want to know, the transparency of all of this, and then maybe they don't really want to know how the sausage is made ultimately. We also know student athletes don't want that information out there. That's why Olivia Dunn testified in front of the House settlement saying it's none of your business how much money I make. I shouldn't have to report it to anybody. We have multiple states from Oregon to Tennessee and everywhere else that are introducing laws to limit that information. Oregon doesn't want to report it at all to the enforcement arm. The Tennessee proposed law says we'll report it to the enforcement arm, but the media can't, and it's not public information. Why? Those places, schools don't want other schools to know how they're managing their roster so that nobody can look at a list of numbers at another school and go, hey, let's go after this player, or hey, let's act like we're going after this player and drive the price up there so that we can go after somebody else. So everybody wants to know or thinks they want to know, but there is no absolute in this because there's no clear transparency in it. Let's go back to the Nick Saban story. Nick Saban was going to Alabama. It was reported widely that he was going to Alabama. Nick Saban comes out and says, I'm not going to Alabama. That's not true. Well, at some point, rubber was going to meet the road. He either became the coach at Alabama or he didn't. So you had closure and you had knowledge. In this case, Nico could be the quarterback this fall, and there'll be a section of people that say, well, he must have got a new deal. But we'll never know if he got a new deal unless his people put out that he got a new deal, because what you end up having in these situations with the lack of transparency is he said, she said.
Mm. It's really fascinating, Brent, because it does feel like we live in a world where even if you introduced binding contracts with buyouts, and a lot of these guys have contracts, until you have agents that are required to broker said contracts, right, Brent? Like, we're always going to have people in quote unquote camps, like we always talk about, who are going to be interested in talking to other parties or putting names out there. Is that the biggest issue in all of this? Just who is representing these players? Because in the NFL, there is a long process of being credited and being a legitimate agent that is allowed to broker things like this.
Well, I think the bigger issue is the fact that it's free agency 365 days out of the year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can come out and say, hey, I'm going in the portal when it opens in a week. Somebody can come out in August and say, I'm entering the portal in December. I'll declare myself a free agent 4 months before that window opens. But I can declare myself a free agent anytime I want to, and basically as many times as I want to. Now, you can only transfer twice during a given year, but you could declare yourself a free agent any day. In the NFL, you have a couple of things. One, very few guys are working on one-year deals. Okay, generally that's a vet, right, Ramon, and a guy who is a short-term fix, and everybody knows when he arrives he's on a one-year deal. The guy's likely not going to be back the next year unless he just blows up. They're taking a one-year rental, one-year chance on that guy. Everybody else is on a multi-year deal. And then you know when that contract is up. Then you know when the free agency window opens. Then you know where that guy goes and visits. You know what the cap space is at the place he's going to visit, what they can offer, what they can't offer. Right now, there's a lot of hedging and cloak and dagger and all those things that make it very hard to ever get it out of the he said, she said world. And that's why it's very challenging to cover. And that's why it's not a situation where a bunch of people are sitting around in a room going, hey, let's make up a story today for clickbaits. Everything he wrote was based on the credibility on the information that he had. Okay, but clearly he didn't have that information directly from the family based on the family's tweets last night. So the question now becomes for every Tennessee fan, what's going to happen? And the answer to that right now is we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Based on the tweets from the family last night, this is a non-story and a non-issue. He's going to be there and it's over and all of that. Is that really the case or not the case? If you take them at their word, that's the case. But is there something going on behind the scenes that they don't want public or doesn't become public or you can't find out to be the case? Perhaps. And that's the challenge in the whole NIL era that we're in right now in college athletics.
Brent Hubs with us this morning of VolQuest and On 3. Hubs, in that same sentiment, right? This stuff pops up because you're allowed to. And I just like to, bring up like Ricky Gibson. Same situation, came out and we've heard nothing else from it. And he's been at practice as far as I'm concerned. This just how it goes to Hubs because you're allowed to do this basically?
Well, everybody's situation and how everybody handles all this is different. And that goes back to what Will was talking about with various agents who are just handlers, who are, people who think they're the handler and they're going to help them go through stuff. And everyone is different in terms of where the story leads from. Some people want to negotiate their stuff publicly because they think it gives them a leverage handle. Some people don't want anything out there publicly. And that's why there's been 24 stories at VolQuest that have been ready to go if player X enters the portal, but he never entered the portal because there was some kind of agreement reached to where the player who was telling people he was going to enter the portal privately never entered the portal. And that's the world we live in right now. And everybody can handle it differently, and everybody wants to know what's going on, and then they find out some things, and maybe they don't want to know what's going on. But right now, the lack of transparency is always going to be there until something changes. And I think the way athletes are trying to portray this or the way they're moving it is they don't want anything to change because they don't want to know anybody. They don't want people to know their business.
Brent Hubs, VolQuest, joining us this morning on RKW. So, Brent, just to elaborate a little bit more on that, at what point do, these contracts become more set in stone and, there's money and years tied to it? Will that better the situation if they could do something that in the future?
You got to make them employees if you're going to do that. And I don't think we're knocking on the door of that right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody else's deal is different. So you're going to have rev share, right? So the rev share deal is going to be a set number because you got a cap on that you're managing. Now, that doesn't mean every player is making an equal set amount of money, right? You've got a number of $1 million allocated for football. You got X number of $1 million allocated for basketball. They could spend it however they want to. If they want to spend all the rev share money on one player, they can technically do that. Okay, but it's going to be different dollar amounts. But then for the really elite players, on top of that, there's going to be a third-party NIL deal that we've been dealing with the last few years. That's never going to be public information unless the representatives, the student athlete and their family, want to make it public information. Okay, because if you can know it and you can say this is what it is and you can be right and they can come out and deny it. Okay, I believe for a fact John Gruden was never going to be the head coach at the University of Tennessee. There was never legitimate discussions. I will go to my grave believing that there was never anything legitimate to him being the coach based on all the information I have. He said last week on the Mike Keith show that he was close, that there was discussions and there was talk about that. I do not believe that to be true. I'm not trying to say John Gruden's a liar. That's not what I mean. But he's saying it this way, and I don't believe that based on all the information I have. I can never prove it. I can never prove that I was right, okay, because he's always going to come back and say, well, yeah, we had discussions. And there's always going to be fans who believe that, yeah, it was much closer and Brent Hubs didn't know what he was talking about. And that's just something I have to deal with. Wow. Because there is no right or wrong. It's a he said, she said deal. And that's what we're dealing with to a large degree, in the NIL world right now. And that's maybe the best example I can give.
I want to piggyback that real quick because I feel like a lot of people want information on this. One thing that can eliminate this happening, Hubs, is the second portal. The NCAA can control that. Why aren't they?
Well, I think there's a fear of lawsuits. There's a fear that, you're negating in some degree, in some way, an athlete's right because football has 2 practice windows. Basketball doesn't. So when you get to into the basketball season, you don't have a chance in the off season to go win a job. Okay? So there was always a belief that it would be more fair to the student athlete if they stayed, competed, and went through spring practice to know truly where they stood and make a more informed decision that way. Now, at times, some coaches thought, yeah, that makes sense. And then coaches decided and believe, you know what, I really want my roster to be set in February so we can go start to become a team and build a team. And when I get to all the contract renegotiations in December and I get through that, I don't want to have to deal with the portal again until the next December. And right now, they've reduced the window to a week. And can they make it? Will it go away? There's certainly a lot of people loudly saying we want it to go away. Oh. Will it? We're going to find out. I don't know, but there's certainly a large movement to try to eliminate the second portal window. Because, again, it's not just that everybody goes, well, NIL's the problem. These kids shouldn't get paid. No, I don't think that's the case. There is a place for players to get paid. It's the combination of getting paid versus I can be a free agency any day or a free agent any day I want to be a free agent. That combination is a bad combination. Imagine an NFL franchise. Ramon, imagine when you played for the Steelers, anybody on your roster could come in any day and say, guys, I'm out. Mm-hmm. I'm leaving.
That's wild.
What kind of, how frustrating is that for teammates? How frustrating is that for coaches? How frustrating is that for management? That's essentially where college athletics is right now. It's not just football. That's where college athletics is right now. And that's the challenge. And that's what's the frustrating part for fans. The games are great. Everything about what we saw in the NCAA tournament was great. It's the off-the-field stuff right now that is very taxing to fans across the country, and that's where college athletics better be really careful about the direction in the future that they're moving towards.
Wow.
Brent Hubs joined us this morning. Good information. And I hate to just jump and shift to the spring game, but
No, you're good.
We got
Yeah, let's
both
jump.
of you guys. He's like, I'm tired of this conversation. It's making me have anxiety.
Yeah, for real.
Ramon and yourself, and of course, Jason Swain and the great Mike Keith on the call tomorrow for the Vol spring game. Everybody really excited about that. How will this look maybe different than some of the games in the past, Brent?
Well, it's a beat-up football team. I mean, there's going to be more guys in street clothes than you ever want to see. I mean, there's a lot of guys banged up right now. And because of that, I think ultimately it's going to feel more like a practice with scrimmage snaps in it than it is going to be an actual game in terms of putting the ball down, turning the clock on, turning the scoreboard on, orange team wins, white team wins. It's going to be really hard because at receiver, they only have 7 scholarship guys to begin with. They're down 1, maybe 2 guys. Now you're at 5. Well, you can't divide up into 2 teams with 5 scholarship wide receivers. At running back, you got a freshman who's banged up right now. You like where you're at with your veteran guys. Do you really want them to get hit and play game? I mean, you're always protective of your experienced veteran players in these situations anyway. So I think because of the numbers issues that they have, you're going to see football, but it may be some more one-on-ones. It may be some more 7-on-7s in there in addition to some 11-on-11 scrimmage work, but I don't think they're going to put the ball down and play for 2 hours. I just don't think where they're at, Scott, injury-wise with this roster, they can afford to do that.
VolQuest Brent Hubs joining us this morning on Ramon, Kalen, Will. Brent, another big visitor in town for the Orange and White game is Maryland transfer guard Rodney Rice. What can you tell us about the latest in his recruitment, and how good does Tennessee feel going into a very big weekend to potentially get him in the boat with his old teammate Jacoby Gillespie?
Well, I think everybody has to be careful and assuming anything just because his old teammate's here. He may very well want to play with his old teammate, but he's also looking to make a business decision. Mm-hmm. So where is the NIL money at for that? Is there more money with Villanova, and that's more important to him, or is playing with his teammate more important to him? What I'm saying is it's not a slam dunk that he joins his teammate. He's visited Villanova. He's coming off that visit, coming to Tennessee tomorrow. He finishes at Villanova today. He's had Zoom calls with Southern Cal. He's had a Zoom call with Gonzaga. Auburn is certainly trying to be in the mix there as well. So the question is going to be coming out of the Tennessee visit. Is it a Tennessee-Villanova battle and he's done, or is all these other schools in it? Does he need to visit them? Can he make a decision without ever visiting somewhere? We're certainly seeing that in the transfer portal as well. So I don't think it's a slam dunk. I certainly think Tennessee's in it, but I don't think it's a lay down because Jacoby Gillespie is here, because there's a business element to this in terms of the financials.
And then there is Nate Ament, Brent, a prospect we've talked a lot about with you over the last couple of months. Did Tennessee kind of go back in with a more aggressive pitch for Nate Ament? I know this is one of those recruitments, like many others, where there's just not a ton of facts around it, Brent, with the way the kind of the family and his camp has handled the recruitment, for better or for worse.
Well, they certainly have not played it out publicly.
Right.
Okay. And so they're not playing any kind of public negotiations and leaking those things out. And they're pretty buttoned up and kind of their secrecy of things. I do think Tennessee's absolutely in it. Are they in it because they've made a bigger deal? I mean, perhaps. They've always had conversations with Nate. This was not a situation in his recruitment where there's been moments and times where it felt like Tennessee was fading based on people you talk to. Now, that wasn't based on Nate, and that wasn't based on Nate's people. That was based on the feeling that in talking to people who know school X and school Y and what they think versus what the feeling is, the vibe you're getting from the school you cover. So it felt like there was a moment in time where Tennessee was fading in that one. But the conversations never stopped. And Rick Barnes is personally invested in this one. He's got a ton of time invested in Nate. And I think the question becomes with Nate, what are you looking for most? Okay, because I do think there was a story in the Wall Street Journal about Duke's NIL for basketball and kind of how that one is. I think they called it dark money is the name of the article. If you want to go find it and read it, it's pretty fascinating. Feels like they have as much money as they need to put their roster together. So if that's the case, then you feel like they could outbid anybody that they want to outbid. if that is what this is about. Now, the question becomes, what is Nate looking for? It's 1 year, right? The belief is he's going to go somewhere after a year. So does he want to? Does he feel like his development at Tennessee would be as good, if not better, than anywhere else? Getting exposed and marketed and branded as the guy at Tennessee versus being, in a group with Carlos Boozer's twin kids, who are obviously going to be the focal point at Duke from a marketing and branding standpoint. All of those things factor into this equation as well when you talk about marketability with NIL. And then ultimately, I think he's going to make a decision based on what he thinks is best for him basketball-wise.
It sounds like we got a great chance to do some negative recruiting about the Boozer twins going.
I was going to say, I'm not very old, but that makes me feel old.
Like,
that's saying something.
Boozer twins.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's the thing. Duke's coming back going, hey, that Rick Barnes, he doesn't play offense. Why do you want to go there if you're an offensive player? It's all about defense there. So, and Rick Barnes is going, well, I had Kevin Durant. He's pretty good. So call that negative recruiting or call that accurate recruiting, Ramon, however you want to do it. You've been through the process. There are various ways to compare one school to the other for sure.
You don't want to go over there with that old guy. Trust me, I've heard that before.
VolQuest, Brent Hubs, Friday mornings here on the show. We appreciate you as always, Brent. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, Ramon, come on over and hang out with the old guy tonight, buddy.
Man, I can't. All right? Don't you try to go to sleep at about 9 o'clock.
You'll be playing Glorilla before 8 p.m. tonight.
Have the cornhole out, all right? Let's do some things.
Oh, I don't know about late nights for me. I hope the phone doesn't ring all night long. We'll find out.
Thank you, Brent.
Thanks, Brent.
All right, there's Brent Hubs. He'll be on the call for the Tennessee spring game tomorrow with our Ramon Foster. You hear him here every Friday. Brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. Very interesting information on the Nico Iamaleava saga. The Nico Iamale saga.
There we go.
Trying to do a thing.
No, don't let them have that.
What do we
right
call
there.
it? Something gate?
That wasn't good.
Whatever gate.
Well, I think we go with the Nico Iamale saga.
Thank you.
Nico Iamale saga.
I think I'm hilarious. Coming up, we'll react to what Brent Hubs told us, and we'll react to breaking news in the NFL. A quarterback has landed in a new place. That's next.
One word that comes to mind when you think about Genesis Diamonds, integrity, man. This is a company built on a solid foundation with total transparency and honesty. This is why they don't have commissioned salespeople. They pay their employees, not you. So they aren't under any pressure to sell you anything, and you aren't under any pressure to buy anything. They share with you the long-held secrets of the diamond industry, teaching you the tricks to maximize the value of your purchase. They show you how to buy like a dealer buys. Another thing, too, at Genesis, they don't play the pricing game. Unlike other jewelers, they work on a very small margin, so they don't mark up to mark down prices. They offer the best value price every day, and when they do have a sale, it's the real deal too, not a phony one. We're lucky to have Genesis Diamonds here. They're not another big box corporate chain store at all. They're locally owned, but with international connections that guarantee no middleman pricing on every diamond. And don't forget, only Genesis has top bridal designer brands that everyone wants. They were handpicked by all the top designers because only Genesis meets the highest standards in quality and customer care that these designers demand. You will love the experience there. Trust me. Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone with quarterback news in the NFL. The news we give you every morning is that you got to download the Scooters Coffee mobile app. Do that today. Order ahead. Save $2 off your first mobile order. It appears that Shedeur Sanders will not be a Cleveland Brown. They have added quarterback help in the form of veteran Joe Flacco, reaching agreement on a 1-year, $4 million contract. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the deal returns Flacco to Cleveland, where he won the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year award in 2023. It is worth up to $13 million with incentives.
Wow.
According to the report, Flacco also spoke with the Steelers and Vikings, but opted to spend his 18th NFL season in Cleveland.
And this is where the conversation again comes, guys, where we're at that stage where teams are more likely to go out and hold on to these 40-year-old quarterbacks and bring them back for another year than they're willing to go take a gamble in the draft on a guy like Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart. It's crazy that this is where we're at, but this is just proving again, whether it be this isn't the best quarterback class or, the flipping of the coin isn't worth it for organizations to do that if there's still some of these quarterbacks with veteran presence, with experience left in the pool. And clearly he's one of the last ones that was out there. We mentioned Kirk Cousins. He was technically not available yet, but here we go. I mean, and Shedeur Sanders, his stock tumbling a little bit more now.
They could still also draft a quarterback too.
Yeah.
This does not preclude them from bringing in Jackson Dart still.
But not in the first round, in my opinion.
Correct.
Yeah, not in the first.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean,
trust the Browns?
Not at 2.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't trust the Browns at all, which is why I'm saying they could trade up in the first round to still get Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Because they're the Browns, and I think they'll make a bad decision.
Man, and in the world of quarterbacks and like opportunities, would y'all ever retire? Like, my answer is no.
Absolutely
at this point. You're protected. You're going to get like up to $13 million. Like, they dropped that like that's a discount. Like, that's still $13 million that he's getting paid to just basically get along with the franchise at this point and teach maybe Kenny Pickett or whoever they draft later in the draft. This is a stability signing for him. And it all points to, as you just said, Kayla, like Shedeur. Like, at this point, there's another elimination of where you're going to go at this point. And however you feel about the draft class is this. There's a separator between Cam and everybody else. And that's the conversation more than anything. There's a lot of people believe in him more than the others at this point. And the teams that have the opportunity to get a quarterback early right now are choosing not to.
Zach hits us up on YouTube and says, so does this mean Abdul Carter to Cleveland is a lock? No, I think the opposite is true. I think that Travis Hunter to Cleveland is now a lock.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter to Cleveland?
I think so, too.
He is the overwhelming Vegas favorite to go number 2 overall. That doesn't always mean gospel. It often gives us, though, a more clearer picture at what is about to happen. Often.
Yeah.
Not flawless, though.
It will. But again, maybe Cleveland is smart enough and said they're going to build a defense. Myles Garrett, no doubt about it. That does them more.
With Travis Hunter, though, they could also be building up that defense.
But as far as getting after the quarterback, I think it's easier for an edge rusher like Abdul to affect the game than it is for Travis Hunter to defensively shut down the side of the field.
Maybe.
In my opinion.
I think teams and specifically Cleveland are going to obsess over value of even what 20 snaps or 15 snaps a game on offense can also give you.
For value. So you're playing him at wide receiver.
I'm playing them both, yeah.
Ooh.
And it's interesting what he did in his pro day.
You have been.
Just to be out there just as a wide receiver. Like, it's almost like he wants to put the message out there, like, I want to play wide out.
His little shimmy shake route that he ran.
He wasn't even going to do it. He wasn't even going to.
I hope that wasn't the only route that he ran, because I'm like, bro, sack.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying is he was
some of the TikTok routes you see at some of these camps, like. And we're teaching high schoolers to do this crap now too, aren't we? Of like we're not doing a dance. We're not tangoing. Quit doing the salsa and run a dang out route. Like what are we doing?
There's a pathway to have that happen.
There is.
Within like a split second.
Sure.
And that's it.
You better have a line full of 5 stars and all pros if you're running these TikTok routes in the NFL. It's crazy, man.
I was like, I'm rooting for him, but I was just sack. That's all I was saying is he was trying to get open right there. Like, bro, your quarterback is on his back right now.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Good stuff a few minutes ago with Brent Hubs. If you missed it, you can check it out on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel here shortly. We'll put that video up a little bit earlier this morning. So you could have us on the radio and pop on that YouTube video at the same time as well. Essentially telling us on Nico Iamaleava in Tennessee, and I hope I'm characterizing Brent's thoughts adequately here. This is a situation like many others where it is hard to know what is real and what is not. And nobody is putting anything out there for clickbait. Nobody is being unethical about this on credible media outlets like On3 and CBS Sports. But in situations like this, when you have camps filled with family, with friends, with coaches, with family friends, with high school coaches and things like that, it is hard to know what is real and what is not in today's era of NIL and college football, and that appears to be the case with a Nico Iamaleava transfer / contract saga that rolls on this morning.
Hey, we just had a whole segment
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, and he
did.
knows everything, right? And behind the scenes, and even that story
It's the best
about
source we can
John
get.
Gruden,
Yep.
and that was amazing just to hear just firsthand what can go on in the he said, she said type of situation.
And just the perception of what you feel is real versus
Right.
what actually is. Like
Exactly.
to Hub's point, like Gruden in his conversation with Mike Keefe may have actually felt like, yeah, this is getting
Sure.
a little bit more real, but in all actuality, like it really probably not had any legs.
What I can tell you, and one fact that I know, is that Pete Nakos of On3 is a credible reporter.
Yeah.
And just because the information appears to be more conflicting across different avenues does not make a reporter not credible. That is one thing I really will caution people to stay away from is, this whole like, oh, well, there's a lot of information out there. This is clickbait. Like it's not. There's just a lot of different people talking with different versions of the same story. And it's really hard for us to know what is 100% accurate. 100% accurate in this situation. So anyway, that's college athletics in 2025. Coming up, let's give you the first Masters update of the morning, the early tee times. I can smell the pimentos and the cheese. The fresh grass in Augusta, Georgia will do that. We'll also get you the big NFL headline from yesterday. Abdul Carter's agent is talking again. Should we listen to what he's saying? We'll tell you next.
8:01 from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. The latest in the NFL is the Cleveland Browns and veteran quarterback Joe Flacco reached an agreement today on a one-year, $4 million deal. It's worth up to $13 million with incentives. Flacco will now return to Cleveland, where he won the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year award in 2023. Flacco also spoke with the Steelers and Vikings, but opted to spend his 18th NFL season with the Browns. This was first reported by Adam Schefter. And the Nashville Predators beat the Utah Hockey Club last night 4-3 on a Philip Forsberg shootout goal, securing the Preds' second straight win. Preds are back in action tomorrow night in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. Puck drop is at 9 p.m. And in Tennessee football, the Vols orange and white game tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. While the game is not broadcasted or streamed on TV, you can hear the first call of Mike Keith and Ramon Foster and the rest of the Vol Network crew right here on 104.5 The Zone starting at 1 p.m. And a Masters update after round one yesterday. Englishman Justin Rose matched his best first round at the Masters, going 7 under par. Rose is a 3-shot leader going into round 2 today, and he's already teed off for the day. Tied for second at 4 under par, Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, and Ludwig Aberg. Bryson DeChambeau sits at 3 under par, and Rory McIlroy shot an even par yesterday. He also has teed off. Fred Couples, at age 65, is the second oldest player to break par at the Masters, shooting a 71. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone continues into the second half. Kicking off your weekend. Look, it's Masters Friday. It's been a beautiful week. I know the clouds are out. Look, if you need a little extra caffeine today, maybe you were like me. You were up late watching baseball. You're up late doing a number of things on your Friday Junior. You acted like it. Make sure you download that Scooters Coffee mobile app today. If you're in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood, if you're not there, get there. Secondly, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I kind of am. Download the mobile app, save $2 off your first mobile order. You'll thank us later. You will.
Do the right thing.
You'll love the Scooters Coffee that you have in your life, or maybe you'll love the hot chocolate like Ron Slay has, who will join us coming up in just over an hour.
Seen my dog.
9:20.
Yeah.
When you get television's Ron Slay live and in person. Can't wait.
I think he's supposed to be on Martin McGee this weekend.
Is he?
Oh, is he? Nice.
Honestly,
why I gotta catch your news on your own radio show? Okay,
He's breaking it for you.
He's so busy now. I can't even talk to him on a regular, man. Jeez, I gotta make an appointment.
I was gonna say, does he have an assistant now?
He about to.
Yeah.
Me is gonna be his assistant. Okay,
You're
me.
busy too. How are you gonna do that?
For Slay Dog, I got him.
Yeah.
Always prepared.
Always.
Will Fee come into play too?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So Abdul Carter's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, is talking again in the media about his health. Not about his own health, but his client's health, I should say. Abdul Carter had a foot injury, of course, during medical evaluations at the scouting combine. I shouldn't even say injury. I should say stress reaction. Because sometimes you get a stress reaction that doesn't even hurt. Clearly, that was the case in this circumstance. Carter's agent yesterday told Adam Schefter of ESPN, Drew Rosenhaus, says that the stress reaction in Carter's foot is healing. It has improved since it was last checked and will not require surgery. Quote, it should be a non-factor with the teams at this point. Yeah, Drew, buddy, we'll decide what's a non-factor and what is a factor. I tend to agree with you. However, you also said he would be ready in plenty of time for his pro day, and guess who didn't work out at his pro day? Abdul Carter. So allow me to not really take a lot of what Drew Rosenhaus is saying about Abdul Carter. Seriously.
No doubt. And I'm going to be real with you. I like Drew. Drew is cool. If you ever meet him, you're going to like Kayla. He's one of them types of dudes.
He's been at a Titans practice before.
And he, you know who he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's got face, like, you know who he is. Like, he goes hard for his guys. But to Will's point you just made a second ago, you told us in January, February, that he was going to be ready for the pro day, and he's not.
Right.
Like, I don't deny the talent that Abdul Carter has. I do not deny that he's going to be a good player or perceived to be a good player. Perception he's going to be a good player. But the issue that I have is this. This is becoming ongoing. And, like, the foot thing is very finicky at times. Derrick Henry had his foot thing. He's gained back and almost had 2,000 yards. So I ain't worried about the long term of it. What I am worried about is this. If this lingers on and then you get to a point where you like the pressure of your teammates, like the pressure of, like, peers, right? It does get to you. And what if Abdul is separated from Drew and just, man, I'm going, coach. I got you today. And then it breaks, right? Those are the things you got to deal with in those situations right there. And the other side for me, when it comes to when it comes to that first year for rookies, right? The establishment of your play, barring you are a quarterback, right, that can sit. The establishment of what you're going to be as a pro, more times than not, we see it in year one. We legitimately see it in year one, and I feel like you got to be able to see what Abdul Carter is going to be made of in that first year. And if a foot hinders that, like that could really mess him up mentally in a lot of different ways. But I don't like the continual push to say, oh, he's going to be there, and he's not.
Less is more sometimes, especially in the draft, like, kind of way of doing things, because I remember at the beginning of the season, like, how much we talked about Abdul Carter, the draft season, I should say. Oh. It was like he legitimately could have been the number 1 overall pick coming here. And the more and more, teams do their vetting, obviously they're looking for different things. I get that point of it. But he really has not been a talking point as much as I thought he would be at this point, because there's been, like, off and on questions about this, and Drew Rosenhaus maybe saying a little bit too much when it comes to then he's got to go back on his word and he doesn't, go to the pro day. Because I think that if he was healthy, maybe he could have, had some more conversation about him, but he wasn't.
If he'd did his pro day,
he would. But we just didn't see much, right, in this draft process from him because he wasn't 100% healthy. I think he'll be fine in the future as well, guys. But it does make you wonder, like, whoever does draft him this year, exactly year one, how he's going to be with that organization.
You don't want to waste a pick in year one for a blue chipper, right? You don't want to waste it for a blue chipper. Absolutely not. Because if he's not going at 2 or 3, right, like, the Giants really, they need him because he's that type of player. But, like, Vrabel getting him, like, imagine him going into camp with Vrabel with a foot injury or whatever the case. Like, Vrabel's going to.
The way he plays, Vrabel's teams play?
Exactly. And the way he demands. Like, Vrabel played with a broken foot, didn't he? Or broken leg at one point in time. He don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned about it, but I'm also not really going to listen to what Drew Rosenhaus has to say about it either.
It's hard, because
he's kind of lost the benefit of the doubt. Drew Rosenhaus has a job to do, but so do we.
Yeah.
And so just because he has a job to do doesn't mean we have to believe everything that he tells us and regurgitate it to you as fact. I do not believe that much of what Drew Rosenhaus says in the media is fact in the build-up to the NFL draft when we're all bored with no new information and are looking for ways to talk ourselves in or out of these certain guys at certain places. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the scenario of it is this. If Abdul Carter there wasn't a quarterback in the conversation and Abdul Carter was coming here, I think the conversation would be, oh, Lord, come another injured player.
Yeah, and a lot of Titans fans feel that way.
No doubt about it.
I personally don't, but a lot of Titans fans feel that way.
But yeah.
In the back of your mind, you got that.
Yeah, the BTS would come up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love on our call screener this morning, Justin understands the assignment. I see Gator Mike on line 1, and under Gator Mike in description, I see wants to gloat. So Justin gets it. He understands. Gloating Gator Mike joins us this morning. Hello, Gator Mike.
Hey, how y'all doing this morning? I decided to wait. I didn't decide to call, right away. Tuesday, let it go. And I know Kayla is on Team Gator Mike because of Ruben Chinjelu, doing a great job this year. Blossomed a great player, great kid. But, I know me and you had our things. I'm glad to see you. You were happy for my team. My coach, not so much, but I get it. It's okay.
That's true.
It's all good.
Yeah, I heard somebody dog your coach last night at East Robinson, man. They did, straight up.
What?
Man. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I know. I get it.
I know. Hey, real quickly, did you all happen to see the video of the Spanish call at the end of that game?
I did not.
No.
I will see if I can get it. It's so great because the guy's speaking Spanish all the way through, and then right at the very end when the clock hit 0, in English, he's like, Houston, you have a problem.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's awesome.
I gotta find that and send that to
No
y'all.
problema.
That's
Maybe
good
Justin
right
can
there,
find
Mike.
it and we can play it.
Oh, it's
for real.
so great.
Hey, Gator Mike, you say did we hear it? Knowing we not on Florida algorithm like that. Come on, Gator Mike.
That is a Florida algorithm
one-sided
thing.
conversation right there. Come on.
Come on, Ramon, man. It's all good. Hey, and Ramon, seriously, I haven't thought about this all week. Congratulations on the ball assignment. I may have to actually flip over during the Florida-Tennessee game to hear, you and Mike Keith on the call. And, deep down, I know you'll be, pulling for the Big Orange, but you have a little soft spot in your heart for Gator Mike, so I'll be doing that.
A little bit. I ain't
For
gonna lie
sure.
to you. Just a little bit, Gator Mike.
Thank you, Gator Mike, for the call.
I'll be
We
fair.
appreciate you as always.
Yeah.
Our
I might bash you a little
resident
bit,
Florida
but I'm gonna be
fan.
fair.
He knows how to connect with every fan base.
Gator Mike cool like that.
Gator
dog.
Mike is a long, loyal listener of the
Yep.
station. We allow
Congrats,
him.
though.
We allow him to gloat.
To his point of gloating,
Congrats.
I was driving and I saw a flag up. It was brand new out the package. That blue and
Florida.
orange was as bright as you could see. They were flying that flag.
They were proud.
high. Absolutely.
Do you want to go on a trip
Where?
On your new rocket ship?
to Augusta, Georgia,
Do it.
Ooh.
where eggs are being saladed, pimentos are paired with cheese, and the Masters is in its Friday morning? Let's go to a Masters leaderboard update, Justin. If you can hit the music for our Friday morning leaderboard update as the opening rounds begin here on the first nine. In a moment. Oh, there we go.
There we
There's
go.
Yes.
There's
gosh,
that nice
now
music.
I can hear the beautiful black keys of the Masters theme. Justin Rose is through one. He is even this morning. He's in bloom yesterday, 7 under, with a first round 65, just 2 shots off of the course record at Augusta National of a 63. We have a 3-way tie for second, something of a smorgasbord of different nationalities, as Canadian Corey Connors, American Scotty Scheffler, and the young phenom Ludwig Oberg are all 4 under. Scotty Scheffler, the defending champion, will tee off today at 12:23. Tyrrell Hatton is 3 under. Bryson DeChambeau, American, the defending U.S. Open winner, is 3 under. He will tee off today at 9:15. Chattanooga's Harris English is 2 under. Jason Day is also 2
might.
under. And his fellow countryman Cameron Smith is 1 under. In Augusta, it's not Cameron, it's Cameron. Lefty Brian Harmon, former Georgia Bulldog fan, is 1 under as well as he speeds to the course this morning. Bubba Watson is even, bogeying in the first 3 holes this morning. It was a second 9 to forget for Rory McIlroy, 4 over on the back 9. He'll tee off this morning at 8:58, beginning round 2 even. And Justin Thomas with his good friend Jordan Spieth.
JT.
The two buddies always finding each other. The best friends are both 1 over, and they will tee off at 12:23 and 12:34. And Nick Dunlap yesterday turns in a card that I would be proud of, that he was not proud of. As the former Alabama Crimson Tide golfer, yesterday shot a 90 for 18 over, putting him in 95th place. That is your Masters update on Masters Friday.
A 90.
Oof.
Solid, Will. Solid right there.
Plus 18.
That was solid right there.
Yeah, not good. I would love to. My goal for this year is to break 90 for the first
You're
time.
Right.
So maybe I can do that, but I'd be thrilled with a 90.
What do you think the cut will
Nick
be?
Dunlap.
The cut.
Couldn't tell you.
When is the cut?
I don't know enough
Today.
to
It's
give you an
today?
answer on that. Projected cut right now is +2.
Okay.
So
Plus 2.
Okay.
So
couldn't tell
plus
you.
18 ain't good.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Plus 18 ain't good.
And our guy JT and
It's
Jordan
what
Spieth, like,
He's close.
they got to
JT
pick
is
it up.
close.
They got to pick it up.
Did Spieth win the Masters?
Spieth
Spieth
Jordan
is just
Spieth has
good.
a green jacket.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes, he does.
Well, plus 2 is the cut. How many's left after the cut?
He won the Masters in 2015. After the cut,
Yeah, like is there a number they got to get to or just a standard they got to get to?
50.
50?
Top 50. Right now, there are a number of guys tied at 49th, but that is around where it'll be.
Right.
usually.
It might change
top
a little.
50.
Yeah, no doubt.
Not always the same.
Golly,
There
what
you
a
go.
lot of pressure, man.
So we'll wake you back up. When we come back, it is one of our favorite segments leading up to draft time. Our guy Sully hit us up yesterday and said, all right, all these the blind resumes. Feel like we're speed dating
my goodness.
NFL draft prospects with blind resumes. He said, let's do edge rusher tomorrow, Will.
You got your wish.
Every now and then, I am a man of the people. In fact, many would say I'm often a man of the people. So we give the people, and specifically Sully, what he wants. Blind draft resumes for edge rushers next. Blind draft resumes continue on RKW, brewed by Scooters Coffee. You got locations at White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. A cinnamon roll from Scooters would be a phenomenal way to start your Friday morning. It's going to be warm. You're going to need a fork for it. Take it back to the office. Everyone in the office is going to love you. Just take a couple coffees.
Take a traveler.
Cinnamon roll. You will be the most popular person. You might even be allowed to watch golf on company time.
Yeah.
If you just go bribe your boss with cinnamon rolls. Again, I give you permission now.
Do something nice
at 8:24 a.m.
okay?
That's right.
Bonus points on a Friday.
Exactly. That's bonus points is what we're working for.
The rave reviews on Twitter this morning at Ramon Kayla Will, where Dan writes in and says, Will, if the Masters announcing doesn't work out, you would be great announcing obituaries.
What the heck?
Thank you, Dan.
I didn't know there was something like that.
I do often think about if this whole play-by-play and hosting thing doesn't work for me long term. I'm going to end up doing freeze tag on the Ocho. That one day a year in the summer where ESPN shows freeze tag.
Yeah.
If I don't make it, you're going to see me, with a comb over and a mustache. Well, John, he's doing a great job making that tag I don't know.
Hey.
That's probably how people feel when they see me doing track on large networks. They're who is this guy and how did he get here?
That's what I was thinking last week after listening to your track calls. No.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
That was last week, wasn't it?
When I do a lot of those national TV gigs for track, I'm like, man, somebody in a hotel is really bored right now with nothing to watch. And they're watching me going I'll throw this on for a little bit.
Right.
And this is the highlight of my year. And somebody in a hotel in Poughkeepsie is just what's this? Huh?
Hey, man.
I'll turn this on for a few minutes, and that's perfectly fine.
Y'all can count on me listening. Legitimately. I listen
you
to
and
Will. And
my
Kayla,
family.
you got to let us know when you're on these broadcasts. Legitimately.
I'm just
You can't take it too
wanna-
seriously.
Listen, I'm all for viewership. I know what the ratings mean, okay? Let me know if my little phone watching helps anybody. Or my TV set. What the hell is a TV set?
I don't
welcome
know.
to 1997.
I do not know what a
Ramon
TV. That's like a brick in my eyes.
If my television, is going to help the ratings, hey, I'm trying to support the homies.
I appreciate it. I may have a fun announcement on where I will be next coming soon.
See what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Now we cooking with grease.
On a new network. So we'll see. Should be fun. Blind draft resumes for edge rusher. I think this will be the hardest exercise yet, guys. It's not quarterbacks. It's not wide receivers. There are a lot of guys drafted in the first round at edge rusher. And I have picked 5 Lance Zierlein, NFL.com draft profiles. So if you've never heard this before, we have got 5 players. 3 of them are current NFL edge rushers drafted in the first round of the last 5 NFL drafts.
How many? I missed the number. How many?
5 total. 3 of them are current NFL players.
Gotcha.
Right.
2 of the following prospects you will hear about are NFL draft prospects. First round picks in the last 5 drafts. So, shall we begin?
Yeah.
We shall begin. I will give you height, weight, projection in terms of grade by Lance Zierlein of NFL.com. And I am giving you time to close the F&M Bank chat. There are no hints.
It's done. It's done. Mine is down.
Kayla and Justin tying yesterday on receivers. Ramon looking to get on the board with his first victory.
Trying to, man.
Kayla flawless on quarterbacks. We begin with prospect 1. Ramon's already not happy with me. At 6'7", 260 pounds. A 6.8 grade, year 1 starter. Defensive end prospect with can't miss combination of football character, skill, and physical traits, Todd. Sound like Mel Kiper, who is more likely to contend for occasional Pro Bowls than become an all-pro playmaker. Strength and flexion allow him to drop a deep anchor and set a very firm edge. Then that is unlikely to change as a pro, whether he's using a 4.3 or a 3.4. He can be too mechanical, engaging in cursory contact rather than using his hands to whip the man in front of him quickly. This player is an instinctive rusher, assailing the pocket with a nonstop barrage of activity. His hands are skilled and efficient to grease the edge while fluid counter steps often inside paths to the pocket. He needs to add a few more items to his rush menu, making me hungry, in order to maintain his rush production against NFL tackles. Scheme versatile. Should be a very good starter with a very high floor, but his ceiling might not be as elevated as some of the talent he's compared to. Ramon, how confident are you on knowing prospect 1?
I'm going to be real. I wrote that down fairly fast.
Did you?
I did.
Okay.
I wrote it down quick on that one. Yes, 100%. I'm good on this one.
Kayla, how do you feel on this one?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
There we go.
Probably
That is
8.
Probably about 8 out of 10
Yeah.
or 8 out of 100?
8 out of 10 in terms of
I'm
fit.
joking,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
joking.
that
It's
would
always-
be not
I
confident.
got that from
at
my
all.
dad a lot. He'd be like, what'd you get on that
Holy
test today? Oh, I got a 90 out of what, 200? That's a
Right?
classic dad comment. Classic dad comment.
Pops open.
Yeah, Ramon said, yeah, you know me. All right. Justin, how'd you feel about prospect 1?
Oh, I'm good on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, well, confident.
Listen, my dog.
All right, so everyone's locked in their guesses. Which again, I'll give you time after we know all 5 prospects
I got this.
to lock in your official guess. Prospect 2 is 6'4", 239 pounds, a 6.41 grade. Will become a good starter within 2 years. He is an explosive, pliable edge talent whose active hands and eager feet make it hard for tackles to get a firm grip on him. His burst and lower body flexion, again, that flexion word, give him an advantage at the top of the rush, while his spin moves and feel for pocket depth round out his attack. He has good strength for his size and plays with admirable contact balance against bigger players. But setting firm edges and holding his ground against a downhill running attack could be an issue. Overall, his hard-nosed demeanor and pass rush talent are winning play traits that will help him become a successful 3-4 outside linebacker and sack artist.
I think I got it. I think.
How do we feel?
That one I don't feel as good.
That was a
Quandaries?
little rough.
Concerns?
Yeah, I did. There wasn't a true giveaway in that one for me. So I'm not
Other
as
than
confident.
holding up against the run. But that could be any one of these rushers. All of them have run edge setting issues, though.
Right,
Sounds like
exactly.
a generic first-round
I
talent.
know.
does.
That's what I'm thinking too.
We got true value edge rusher over here. I hope he's good.
Okay.
Look
That
at
one
this
I don't.
smirk.
I'm not as confident, guys.
I'm not as confident on that one. I hate that one. I'm gonna be real with you.
Shall we move on to the prospect behind door number 3?
Let's do it.
Let's just get over it.
We shall. At 6'5", 245 pounds, this prospect is given a 6.40 grade by Lance Zierlein of NFL.com, which means he will become a good starter within 2 years. Tight-hipped, linear pass rusher with explosive takeoffs and good speed to power, but a lack of bend to flatten at the top. His high pressure rate is partially derived from an instinctive feel for positioning, allowing him to work around protection for quick wins into the pocket. He's very long but narrow through his hips, so the build out of his frame might be limited. He knows how to play around blocks and has the speed to close and tackle, but his base is naturally narrow and lacks bend. He'll need to improve his strength and technique as an NFL run defender. Despite those concerns, his length, twitch, and rush production create a higher ceiling.
Okay.
That is prospect number 3. Kayla, you appear
I
to be
like this
confident about prospect number 3.
I felt confident in that one. So.
Yep, I like this
Justin, confident?
Yeah, I think I know.
Okay.
I'm going to have a little smirk back here sometime.
Okay.
one. He's very confident back there.
Listen, even his voice actually makes him more confident
know.
than probably his action right now. That's
It's just
the
number
issue.
2. I'm racking my brain. I just do not know.
One
But
is questionable too.
One
Really?
to me, honestly,
There
I'm
was a
more
giveaway
confident
in one.
than number 3.
Well, these last 2 prospects are nearly identical.
Great.
Shall we go to prospect 4?
Yes.
I believe we should
Wipe
go to
that smirk
prospect
off
4.
your face right
Behind
now.
door number 4
Alex Trebek.
I know.
is a 6'3", 251-pound edge rusher with a grade of a 6.46, which means he will become a good starter within 2 years.
Great.
High-energy pass rusher with productivity and a method of play that should translate to the next level. He displays a natural and instinctive rush, utilizing loose hips and a series of moves and counters that can open doors with force or finesse. He's very physical, with notes of violence in the way he attacks blockers in both phases. His explosiveness allows him to penetrate gaps, play around or through the protection edges, and change direction quickly to finish in the backfield. He relentlessly presses forward, but can run out of gas due to his hot running motor. Teams might wish he were heavier and longer, but he's willful, skilled, and powerful, with the ability to create enormous matchup concerns as an edge rusher on the next level. That is prospect 4.
Give me height and size one more time.
6'3", 251 pounds.
I know. Let's just build one, right? 6'3".
Right.
That's a building edge.
Possibly a 2-year starter.
Exactly.
Going ahead of them all, go down to Build an Edge.
Build an edge.
I think Mike Borgonzi would like to shop at Build an Edge
Build an edge.
for the Tennessee Titans.
That one's tough. Not gonna lie.
It could be.
Is it just me or most prospects have the description could be a starter in 2 years?
Or the one knock, narrow hips.
Yes.
A lot of tight-hipped prospects
Tight
out
hip.
there.
Oh
in these
my
streets.
God.
I've
Do
got
some
narrow
yoga.
hips, but you don't see me as a prospect.
Well, maybe that's why we don't see you as a prospect.
Dang.
I need to work on those
Maybe I
hips.
should.
Work on the middle. Fire hydrants, man.
Our
Wow.
fifth and
2
final
and
prospect.
4
Again, if
right
you were
now.
just now joining us, these are blind draft resumes. Ramon, Kayla, and Jayhawk will all guess on who they are. 3 of them are current NFL edge rushers. 2 of them are NFL draft prospects. Prospect number 5, 6'3", 247 pounds, a 6.72 grade. Hey, I'm not going to give you will become a good starter within 2 years. I'm going to give you year 1 starter.
Finally.
On prospect number 5. Long and athletic with the explosive traits needed to become an impactful NFL pass rusher. His first step quickness and elite closing burst are important building blocks, but he still needs to work on his process from point A to point B. He hasn't learned to create the space and angles needed to consistently attack the edges, but that should come with better hand development and a more diversified approach. A team would be wise to widen him out and allow him a better runway to ignite his burst and overwhelm tackles with his speed. He's added 20 pounds since coming to college, but he struggles at times to stack and shed run blockers or set a firm edge.
Okay.
That is prospect number 5.
God,
Okay.
hold up. I'm changing real quick.
I'm not going to be
changing
great on this
right
one
quick.
in terms of this topic.
Dude,
It's going to get me.
Edge rusher is challenging.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
also
because
tough
a lot
because
them are
of
similar.
the amount of draft picks in the last 5 years.
No, for
that
real.
have gone in the first
There are
round.
plenty of
There are
options.
plenty.
I think I counted because I was trying to study last night. I wanted to be prepared. That's
Yeah.
why I feel so confident on some of these. I wanted to be prepared.
Okay, interesting.
There's almost 20 or
Very
15 to 20.
I mean, I have a list up of all the draft,
Yeah.
for the last 5 years, and you're right. I mean, I'm going down the line, and that's why it's so hard to choose and differentiate between some of these guys.
It really is. I'm looking at guys on this list that were drafted. I have no name recognition on any
Some
of
of them I don't.
The 2020
recall.
draft, Yator Gross Matos.
Yatur Gross-Matos out of Penn State. He was an option for the Titans at the top of the second round, then he went in the first round.
Not registering. What has his career been like? Do we know?
Very average.
Since we're
Not
done,
great.
I can look him up. real
Very
quick.
average.
McGross.
He was the.
Yatur
third-
Gross-Matos has had a very average NFL career. I
He was a
believe.
third. He was a third DN
Yeah.
picked in 2020.
Yeah, he was.
And the draft class in 2023, let's be honest, not very good.
Yeah.
No.
He was drafted by Carolina.
Carolina.
He has 17 career sacks in 5 seasons.
He's still with them.
No,
No.
he is in
Nope.
San Francisco
San
now.
Francisco. 6'5", 265. Well, he wasn't on this
Yeah,
list.
he was not on this list. No. Oh yeah.
Well, he wasn't a first rounder. That's
Correct.
on me.
Right.
Correct. Who do you feel most confident about?
Holy smokes. 1 and 3.
Three.
3 is who you feel most confident about? Okay.
I know.
There are 2 easy ones. There's one very hard one. And then there's one that I try to get you to mislead you into overthinking another one of your choices. I'll explain my methods after the fact. Do you have all of our answers locked in? Do you need
I got
any more
'em done.
time? Any additional questions? Let's do it. Prospect number 1. We'll let Justin go last because he was most confident. Ramon, I feel like you were least confident on this one, so let's start with you.
Prospect number 1, Aiden Hutchinson.
So, Kayla, that's your answer as
That's
well?
there's not many freakishly big
6'7".
edges. That's one of
There's
them.
one other person I thought could have fit that bill at 6'7". I was thinking of Chase Young, but I don't think he's 6'7".
No, he's not quite that big.
Yeah.
Justin?
Yeah, I was thinking Chase Young, but like you said, I think he's 6'5", so I went with
He is.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Also, his football character, skill, and physical traits. I remember coming out just how much they liked the character of him as much as they liked the physical traits of this dude.
One of the keys for me, nonstop barrage.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Well, there you go.
So, Aiden Hutchinson is prospect 1. That was the easiest one.
Let's go.
Everybody.
That was the easy one. 6'7" is a giveaway
Yeah.
for sure. The thing, and I wanted to add him in there Because I think he's the best prospect that's come out of the last 5 drafts at edge. So it's good to compare all these guys to the standard. I do not remember him being described as high floor, not that high of a ceiling.
I don't either.
And that was interesting to go back and read because Trayvon Walker obviously was described as the high ceiling guy, which is why he went number 1 overall to Jacksonville. But I thought that was interesting. It surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess we need to ask the question, too. After all of them, do you think he's lived up to it? I think so.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I think
he's
so,
lived
too.
up to it.
I think if Jacksonville could go back and redraft that, I think they would take him and not Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker's a fine player.
Sure.
But he's not as good as
He
Aiden
was the one I
Hutchinson.
went back and took off my list on one of them. I had him down and chose somebody else later.
Well, we'll see
And
if
it was
you're right or wrong.
unfortunate that he got hurt, Hutchinson.
Yeah, yeah.
Toward,
Oh,
like, that's,
this year?
that would have been so
gotta
good
keep
to see
moving.
the whole
Oh, yeah,
field.
we're already
Got to keep it moving.
All right.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Player number 2.
This is, I'm
On me?
toast.
Taylor, you guessed
Yeah,
first on this one.
I'm
though.
toast. Chop Robinson.
Chop
I'm
Robinson is the
toast.
guest on player 2.
I have Mike Green, prospect, Marshall.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Justin?
I was thinking Chop Robinson, or I was also thinking somebody maybe.
No, not what you was thinking, what you did.
We got it. What's your guess?
Okay, Chop Robinson.
You're all wrong. I finally stumped you all.
Who is it?
Will McDonald, New York Jets.
What the hell?
Will McDonald, Iowa State.
I don't even.
Another guy we talked a lot about as a potential Titan, which is why I thought maybe somebody would get it.
Of course,
we spoke about him a
2023
lot.
draft class.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's
I
right.
kind of don't remember.
He has not
a lot
had a great
now.
career. That was the hard one. That was the
Where'd
hardest
he
one I
go?
gave you. Jets.
Oh,
Jets. He had 10.5 sacks last year. He was good.
Yeah.
He had a good
Why
season.
do I not think of him?
Yeah, he was
right
23
away?
draft class.
Yeah, okay.
He stepped
okay.
up, and that will become a good starter within 2 years. That's exactly what happened.
That's what he's done.
Year 1 for Will McDonald,
off.
he had 3 sacks. Year 2, he had 10.5. That's a pretty good Lance Zierlein profile. Prospect number 3. Ramon, you felt confident on this one.
James Pierce.
Yeah.
Justin?
VFL.
James
Yep.
Pierce is prospect
James
3.
Pierce Jr., baby.
Tight-hipped linear pass rusher. I tried to get you off the scent of him with the last prospect,
Yep.
but I was unsuccessful because the last prospect is kind of similar. 6'5", partly gives that one away.
did.
Yep.
Also, it will become a good starter within 2 years. So there you go.
Yep.
I worked for
Weight,
Will
though,
McDonald.
That's
245, yeah. Which, again, the last prospect's 247, which is why I tried to mislead you.
there's one difference though.
Prospect number 4.
I'll go
Fudge.
first. Quiddy Pay.
Quiddy
I was
Pay
about to put Quiddy Pay. I put Princely Iamaleava.
for prospect 4.
Sure,
Okay.
prospect. Okay.
Justin?
I actually went Mike Green. The hot running motor. He's been a hot topic in this.
Justin Hawkins is the only one to get it. Mike Green.
Did you
Marshall.
put him?
I
Did you
put
say
Mike
Mike
Green,
for
too.
two?
Yeah, I
Okay,
did Mike Green
okay.
on
Mike
two.
Green, a Marshall.
So he is a
High
prospect.
energy.
Okay.
Look at him giving himself extra drops. All right, and then prospect 5, 6'3", 247, year 1 starter.
Yep, that's Dallas Turner.
I had
Year one
Tyree Wilson.
Justin?
I was originally thinking Kayvon Thibodeau, but I don't think he's the height. I don't
Yep,
think
he's
he's that
not.
height.
So who do you think it is?
I went with Thibodeau.
It is Dallas Turner.
Way to
Alabama.
go. Way to go, Kayla. Way
It
to
is
You know
go.
prospect
why?
for you,
number
Kayla.
5.
He gained a lot of weight in
did.
college when he was at Alabama.
And so
That
did
was a
James
big
Pierce.
storyline.
So did James Pierce, which is why I tried to put Dallas Turner in there. Because James Pierce is similar weight, explosive, tight-hipped, point A to point B, struggles at time to shed run blockers or set a firm edge, added a lot of weight. Like that, same thing could be said for James
Right.
Pierce.
That was
But
solid.
And
I was-
projected 1 year first year starter. For
so how many
Dallas.
did y'all get? I couldn't keep up with that.
I missed 2, I think.
I got 2 right.
Yeah, I got 3 right.
Okay, so I can think again, Justin and Kayla tie.
tie.
Anyway.
Again.
Boom.
I was going to do Leatu Latu as the 5th prospect to have one from last year. And then in his profile, it was the neck and back injuries, which would have been a dead giveaway.
shoot,
So
yeah.
I pivoted to Turner.
We would have all gotten that one.
All right, we'll hear the Spanish call of the Final Four begrudgingly. We'll play the audio of something good happening to Florida next. What's up? It's Will Bowling from my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center. Hey, now that the month of April is here, maybe we've been going on spring break trips. Maybe you're getting ready to plan that summer vacation. I'm here to tell you about a revolutionary new product from Brentwood Hearing Center, the Phonak Sphere, which is going to help you hear better when there's background noise, and it's also the only completely waterproof hearing aid on the market. Whether you're working up a sweat in the yard, maybe you've been mowing the lawn, you're thinking, all the sweat, I don't want to take my hearing aids out there. I can't hear anybody else who needs me, right? Maybe you're in the water, you're at the pool, you're at the beach. All of a sudden, you're missing out on conversation. This is some of the best technology in the market. It's the kind of stuff you get when you go check out Brentwood Hearing Center. You can get a demonstration of the Phonak Sphere, 615-377-0420, or you can visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. You're going to find out you've been missing out on sounds, on conversation when there's background noise. Check them out, BrentwoodHearingCenter.com, or call them, 615-377-0420. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. Look, sometimes in life we do things we don't want to do. For all the younger crowd listening to us, the little RKWs out there, sometimes you have to give credit to your enemies. You have to celebrate their victories in life. There's something biblical to that. That'll preach. It's RKW, brewed by Scooter's Coffee. Wrap it up, hour 3 this morning. So Gator Mike called in and said that the Spanish radio call of Florida winning the national championship is good audio. We're fans of good audio around these parts. I've not heard this yet. This is Houston, we have a problem in the middle of a Spanish radio call of Florida winning the national championship.
La tiene Yusan por la derecha, recogió el drible y ahora le quedan 7 segundos. 5, ahora crash, shot. ¡Ay, ay, ay! Caminó, no puede tocar la pelota y la va a recuperar, la va a robar Condor y todo ha terminado. Houston, you have a problem.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Legit. That was legit right there.
That is really, really
That
good.
is so
Fair
great.
enough. Fair play.
Yeah.
Gator Mike, good job for bringing us that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
Now, don't
dope
get
right
carried
there.
away, but you don't always have to bring us audio. But
Right,
that one,
right.
you earned the opportunity to bring us something again later.
Yes.
That was dope.
Next
right
time,
there.
That's
use your recommendations wisely. That one was good.
I just love the language too.
Give you a hard time.
Like Espanol, I love it.
Yeah,
I used
yeah.
to like actually speak it, and
Did
to
ya?
hear that and like that fast how they talk, and then he's just like Houston.
I have so
a
much
problem.
respect for Spanish broadcasters.
They're so
much
good.
respect.
Some of the
It's
biggest moments in sports history, if you go listen to the Spanish broadcast.
Electric.
Oh, my
Right,
goodness.
Absolutely
right.
electric.
It's incredible.
Yep.
That's dope right there. Appreciate you, Gator Mike. You
Yeah.
enlightened us to something good that came out of Florida. Backhanded as hell.
I like
Yeah,
that.
you got to. I mean,
Keep
it's-
him in his place.
listen, I get it. Salute to y'all. This is the last week that you guys have to celebrate. There's some of the kids on the football
They,
team I'm
they
coaching.
get more
Yeah.
than just one
Wearing
week.
shirts. Yeah, they get a year. I get it.
Yeah, they get a while.
year.
We'll hear about it next time we play them. It's okay.
I mean, it's the same thing we're doing with
Part of it.
baseball.
Still talk about it with baseball.
Yeah, you best believe it. Every single
Absolutely.
time we
Pretty
can. The national championship, though, I mean, it's such a sense of pride. And do you feel? I feel like it's different from a college championship than it is sometimes from an NFL one. Because like the divide between NFL teams is like wild at times. You know what I'm saying? But like to win a national like championship for your school, like most people have either grown up going to it or went to it. I think it's more people that went to the universities that have that attachment to it. So yeah, it's a little bit different. I feel like.
Absolutely.
I think the college basketball championship is the hardest to win in college athletics. I think the men's college basketball championship is the hardest to win. Women's tournament is not as difficult because there are not as many teams that can upset you on the way. And that is growing. The parity has grown significantly in women's basketball. It's not quite to where the men's game is, but I think basketball and baseball are the toughest national championships to win because of how many times the best team doesn't win it.
For sure. Yeah.
In college football, the best roster more than likely wins it, 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10?
We saw it
did
last
last
year.
year.
Yep, sure did.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Sure did.
Bigger conversation to be had in college football this year is that there is not a roster like that this year in college football as of April 11th.
Right.
I'll try to skip the whole month of April.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how it shapes out with
I
the rest of
know.
the transfer portal and all that. But
We are entering the non-super team era of college football, in
I
my
like
opinion.
it though.
I do too.
I like
I'm
it.
down for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
We are living in a world where a lot more teams can win the national title this year. Again, as of April 11th, a team could still stockpile. A team could lose their quarterback because he wants to transfer in April if, he wants to.
It's the tournament, I think, that does it for basketball more so.
100%.
And I ain't gonna say the
100%.
lack of physicality because they get physical as heck, but like football, you like the week-to-week grind to being sustainable to play in games and not get injured. Like I'm looking at Florida versus the Vols in Knoxville. Vols beat them by 20, right? Walter Clayton Jr. wasn't in the game, or he got injured with the ankle.
You can reinvent yourself.
And they
with
did.
one player.
Like the best team in college throughout the duration most of the year, Auburn, Duke.
Auburn and Duke
You know what I'm saying?
were the top two all year.
Florida wasn't in this big of a conversation. I
Not
think you
until
knew
March.
the potential.
Right?
The potential was there,
Totally.
but like they weren't the best all year long the way Ohio State was, in football.
Yeah.
Well, Ohio State wasn't the best all year long either.
You don't
though.
think they
Well,
were?
They
No,
lost to
God.
Michigan.
Because remember, we
And they
were
lost
all
to
like,
Oregon.
they could have either reset or gone the opposite
They weren't
direction.
meeting their potential. But they were always the best roster. We knew that.
just didn't live
We didn't know
up
if they were the
to
best
all that.
team. Not the best roster is not always the best team.
Yeah.
All right, so now that could be a very polarizing conversation to be had then, too. I hate to point my pencil at you like that.
okay.
but
I know, I always
pointer.
talk
Yeah.
about
I can
kids.
take it.
But with that being said, is Nick Saban the best coach or the best recruiter to win then?
Same thing.
You think it's the same thing?
In college, coaching is recruiting.
Coaching is recruiting. But I thought coaching is X's and O's.
You can do that
Recruiting
too.
is a skill.
To be at his
all
level,
around.
you have to be elite at all of it.
Yeah, I think he's all
Staff
around.
retention, organizational things within the program that we never see, X's and O's, people management.
That's a fair conversation.
And
because I look at Ryan Day.
Right.
Is he a great coach?
Yeah, that's questionable because he surrounded himself with some really good assistants and,
You see what I'm saying?
offensive coordinator,
On the
Chip
football
Kelly.
side.
But to me, though, like convincing Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles to be on your staff makes you a good coach.
Yeah.
Like not everyone has that ability to say, hey, believe in me. I remember when Mike Eckler took the Tennessee linebackers job, he said, I believe enough in Josh Heupel to do this. I believe enough in who he is as a person and a coach and a leader to invest in him and invest my time in coaching with him. You have to have some level of potential for a lot of these, because these assistants aren't dumb. It's not always just the highest bidder. Like Jim Knowles is now investing in James Franklin.
Yeah.
James Franklin is a good coach who has not had the alignment of his university ever in the way that he has right now. It is an interesting discussion for sure. But if you're an elite recruiter, that makes you an elite coach.
Ed Ogeron.
Elite recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
Elite recruiter. One of the best to do it. Don't ask him how he does it, but
Now
one of the best to do it. Like when he called Tennessee recruits
Where
when
is
the night
he?
Kiffin left, retirement.
beach.
When he called Tennessee recruits after Kiffin left and tried to convince them not to go to class so they could still transfer to USC. But that is a separate discussion for
Forgot
another
he was
day.
there too. Yeah.
Coming up, oh yeah. If you were, if most SEC West coaches had a cup of coffee on a Tennessee staff at some point,
They did.
honestly, and most of them while you were there. We'll get the update from Brent Hubs of VolQuest when we come back. The latest on Nico Iamaleava's contract dispute, we'll call it, with Tennessee next.
Houston, you have a problem!
It's Ramon Foster for Secure Lawn. Good people, man, it is that time of the year, man, when you're trying to get your grass together, man. The
got
company
the
that gets you
trucks,
together
all
is
the
Secure
trucks,
Lawn, man.
all
Listen,
the
they specialize
trims,
in making sure you
all
don't
the
have those
towing,
pesky
all
weeds coming
the
up and
bells
just
and whistles,
unsightly
and all
crabgrass and
at Truck
broadleaf
Month Savings.
around your yard,
Two
man. If you
Rivers
want something that
Ford
look like it's
is
straight out of a
Ford
magazine,
Truck
Secure Lawn is a
Central.
company you need to use. I use them on my grass. I'll be honest. Let me brag a little bit. It's immaculate right now. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. The family owned and operated, man. They've been servicing Middle Tennessee for over 20 years. The punctual, quick response time, man, and they believe in what they're doing. They want to make sure you are lifelong customers. They protect all types of grass too, residential, commercial, and even athletic fields. Listen, it doesn't matter what condition your lawn is in. They will get you together. And yes, it takes a little time, but I promise you the payoff is worth it. So go ahead and get a head start on your yard and call Secure Lawn today at 615-893-8455 or go to securelawn.com.
9:02 from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Good morning. I'm Justin Hawkins. The story of the day, the Cleveland Browns and veteran quarterback Joe Flacco reached an agreement today on a one-year deal, $4 million, worth up to $13 million with incentives, per Adam Schefter reporting. Flacco will now return to Cleveland, where he won the NFL Comeback Player of the Year award in 2023. Flacco also spoke with the Steelers and Vikings, but he opted to spend his 18th NFL season with the Browns. And to the ice, where the Nashville Predators last night beat the Utah Hockey Club 4-3 on a Philip Forsberg shootout goal, securing the Preds' second straight win. Preds are back in action tomorrow night in Vegas, taking on the Golden Knights. Puck drop is at 9 p.m. And the Tennessee Vols orange and white game is tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. The game will not be broadcasted or streamed on TV, but you can hear the first call of Mike Keith, Ramon Foster, and the rest of the Vol Network crew right here on 104.5 The Zone. It all starts at 1 p.m. And a Masters update. Starting today with round 2, Englishman Justin Rose had his best score yesterday in the Masters with 7 under par. So far, Rose is 1 under through 3 holes to start round 2. He has a 4-shot lead over Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, and Ludwig Oberg, who all are 4 under. Bryson DeChambeau is at 3 under par. He tees off at 9:15 this morning. And Rory McIlroy, who shot an even par yesterday, has just teed off. Fred Couples yesterday at age 65 became the second oldest player to break par at the Masters, shooting a 71. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW 104.5 The Zone for one final hour on your Friday. Crew's all here in studio. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Boulding. We are brewed up by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today. Order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. The big news of the morning, Nico Iamaleava in Tennessee in a contract negotiation. According to On3's Pete Nakos, a family friend of the Iamaleavas, tells CBS Sports last night that there is no negotiation and they are happy with what they have. This is what VolQuest's Brent Hubs told us earlier this morning.
Well, what we know is that Nico's going to go through the spring game tomorrow. Obviously, there is a report by Pete Nakos from On3 saying they were negotiating and renegotiating on his contract. Pete wrote that story for whatever for his reasons. He had multiple sources that he felt comfortable with saying that this was going on. Last night, Nico's father went to Twitter and said sternly that the story was inaccurate and was wrong. And Cordell Landers, who is a close friend, confidant of the family, came out and said not only was the story wrong, but that Nico was very happy with the current deal he's on. Everything's good. Everything's great at Tennessee. So what's the truth? And this is the hard part, and I'm not going to try to ramble all morning in this segment because nobody wants me to do that. But this is the challenge in covering NIL, because there is no FOI in an NIL contract. You can't find out what somebody's deal is because it's through a third party. So there is no state law that says a public institution has to give you all the information about that. We know that fans want to know, or they think they want to know, the transparency of all of this, and then maybe they don't really want to know how the sausage is made ultimately. We also know student athletes don't want that information out there. That's why Olivia Dunn testified in front of the House settlement saying it's none of your business how much money I make. I shouldn't have to report it to anybody. We have multiple states from Oregon to Tennessee and everywhere else that are introducing laws to limit that information. Oregon doesn't want to report it at all to the enforcement arm. The Tennessee proposed law says we'll report it to the enforcement arm, but the media can't, and it's not public information. Why? Those places, schools don't want other schools to know how they're managing their roster, so that nobody can look at a list of numbers at another school and go, hey, let's go after this player, or hey, let's act like we're going after this player and drive the price up there so that we can go after somebody else. So everybody wants to know or thinks they want to know, but there is no absolute in this because there's no clear transparency in it. Let's go back to the Nick Saban story. Nick Saban was going to Alabama. It was reported widely that he was going to Alabama. Nick Saban comes out and says, I'm not going to Alabama. That's not true. Well, at some point, rubber was going to meet the road. He either became the coach at Alabama or he didn't. So you had closure and you had knowledge. In this case, Nico could be the quarterback this fall, and there'll be a section of people that say, well, he must have got a new deal. But we'll never know if he got a new deal unless his people put out that he got a new deal, because what you end up having in these situations with the lack of transparency is he said, she said.
Great insight this morning from VolQuest's Brent Hubs. That entire interview is up on our 104.5 The Zone YouTube page now, and we invite you to hit the subscribe button while you're there as well. But a lot to unpack and all good info, guys. What stood out to you?
The fact that teams don't want you to know what their deals are too. Like the competitiveness of being able to negotiate and drive prices up, and not all universities are equal either. It's that side of it where I get the, not disclosing how much you're paying a guy as far as the team's concerned, because teams are petty. Like right now I'm watching the Texas Tech, if I'm not mistaken. No, TCU. TCU's women's basketball program is paying out the wazoo right now for all type of athletes. Some franchise or some schools got a boatload more money than others, are willing to pour in more than others are.
Like Texas Tech football did that this past offseason as well.
Yes, they did. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're in a position where you can just drive up the price, so, hey, Texas can't get it, but a guy at Texas A&M is willing to spend. Like, we've been hearing that for years, so I get that side of it. And then it's the he said, she said, like the uncertainty of the deals. It's, you don't know.
Right.
You don't know.
Because there's so much around these players. There's so many people, and they're not real agents per se. And we see in the NFL, like, it's a lot more smooth because they've got one talking head for them, right?
Yep.
And those guys or gals, they're real agents that are obviously through the NFL credited as that way. And in this day and age, you don't have that right now in college football. So you got that person talking to this person saying this to, Pete Nakos, which, again, I think he's very credited in terms of what he's saying. But no one wants to look bad in this whole process.
That's the other part of it. That's the other part of it, too, that's making it very sticky, which is, again, if you're in a position where Nico is, and he seems to be and is a great kid from all things I know about him, that pressure publicly sucks. Seeing your comment section on Instagram and Twitter run up the way it does, well, a lot of people, Hubs just said, well, in the fall, you'll say, well, he must have got paid. Well, you don't know that. Like, there's an assumption that something's going to happen with him or Ricky Gibson, whoever the case may be.
There was a number out there that somebody on Twitter said that Jacoby Gillespie got, the point guard from Maryland going to Tennessee, that I know for a fact is not what he actually got.
I heard. It was a bunch of aggregators, I guess, running with the $3 million or $4 million
It's very common to say, oh, well, you just go on to the highest bidder. That is not always the case. Not always the case. We know for a fact also that Chaz Lanier last year, when he committed to Tennessee, did not go to the highest bidder. He would have been at BYU probably if he had gone to the highest bidder. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. I would implore you to not attack journalists personally for doing their jobs and sharing the sourced information that they have. Pete Nakos is not clickbaiting you into reading a story. Ari Wasserman just put on Twitter a few minutes ago and said, clickbait is when there is a juicy headline and then there's not much to the story. Exactly. If you read the story from Pete Nakos, there is a lot to it. There is a lot of information in it. It's not like he just led you to something and then you read it and it's nothing. Like there's definitely something going on. It's just hard to differentiate what is real and what is not, and who is lying and who's not telling the truth. And Brent makes a great point. We don't get closure ever, because nobody has to tell us if Nico gets a new deal. No. It'd probably be smart when he does get one, because he probably will, for the Vol Club or for his family or for whoever at Tennessee to put that out there. But again, that could be a lie. Like there's nothing forcing facts within this entire story. And I don't think Nico Iamaleava is going to transfer. I am not overly concerned about it. However, as Austin Price has said on this show before, you should be ready for every single player on all of your favorite teams to transfer at any given moment.
Absolutely.
You should never be surprised.
Nope.
And that's where this becomes larger than a Tennessee conversation is. If it's not your favorite player right now, it's going to be.
You know who probably jump-started this conversation? South Carolina. South Carolina at the end of last year renegotiated Lenore Sellers and everybody. You remember?
And Dylan Stewart.
Yes.
It was Dylan Stewart, the edge rusher, yeah.
You know what? Smart. South Carolina. Bravo.
But what happens when then they go in the transfer portal and bring in a running mate for Dylan Stewart, and then Dylan Stewart's price goes up in the spring after he renegotiated in December?
Well, at this point.
Because that's happening too.
Yeah, it is. And at that point, there has to be, I would expect, if I'm coming to you, Will, Kayla, hey, y'all, I like y'all. Let's do a new deal. I'd expect me doing you a favor in a sense. There will be something I'm allowed to put in your contract, the NIL side of it, that says, hey, this is like a prenup, I guess.
Right.
You spend 10 years with me. Spend 2 years with me. If not, all of that comes back.
And that's in it too.
Right.
It may be.
But there's no preventing these guys from someone in their family going and reaching out to another school and saying, hey, that's what they're giving us. Can you give us more? I just doing a new deal.
I would hope, depending on some coaches' relationships that they have and universities, that look, Coach, I'm willing to let you know I'm not willing to overpay for your guy right now. I'd expect that to be the case.
Yeah.
I hope more than anything that's the case.
My biggest thing that just concerns me about all of it is if you have got a kid going through all of this in high school or in college, keep the circle tight.
Yes.
On who has influence
Biggest
over
thing.
your athlete.
Yes.
And I'm not saying this is a Nico Iamaleava thing. I'm giving away no info about him specifically here. I'm talking about in general. A lot of these students and young men and women are being influenced by people who don't have the athlete's best interest at heart, but have their best interest at heart. Again, this is not a commentary on Nico. This is a commentary on college sports today. That there are a lot of mom and them, quarterback coach, private coach, aunt, uncle, cousin, brother, sister, parents that are influencing decisions that I think these athletes in their heart of hearts don't even want to make themselves. They just want to play ball. Anyway, that's college sports in 2025.
I miss the days where you just couldn't wait to get to the NFL.
Right?
Hell, the NFL is
something to look forward to.
They're making more than the minimum.
And that's I always try to, when there's Tennessee stories like this, I know we have a lot of people that aren't Vols fans listening to us, even though we have a lot of Vols fans too. I try to broaden this out to where it's relevant to your team. And that's how I'm doing it with this. And not a Nico specific thing, just a lot of circles and a lot of camps, hearing a lot of things and influencing a lot of things.
Ohio State took a safety last year. I know it was a coaching change.
Ohio State with Carnell Tate, the talented receiver. They had to publicly negotiate that deal.
Because he was going to leave.
And he still might.
It's true. Don't never say never.
Right. That's the crazy thing is, at least in the NFL, when you sign a new contract, you can't then 6 months later after training camp say, actually, never mind. I'm good. Let's look elsewhere.
Real quick, I'll say this and I'll get out. So as far as the fans is concerned, I see Will said this. I love Nico, but if Cuz leave, go Big Orange. Are you willing to say that if your team sucked, though? Because a portion of this NIL and a lot of it is revenue sharing and people like us pouring into our NIL collectors.
And that's where the players have the leverage because Tennessee can't afford to just be like, I'm tired of this. See ya. Like, no, Tennessee's going to have to pay Nico.
As a fan, you can't say that.
And this whole idea of just let Merklinger do it. You don't really have that luxury. No. If you want to, do you want to go to the playoff or do you want to have standards on who you're paying or not?
Keeping up with the Joneses.
I'd rather go to the playoff.
Much rather keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
I'm be honest with y'all.
Slippery slope, but that's just the reality of the situation. Anyway, we're grateful to have VolQuest be a part of the show because I do feel like we are getting the best of the best in terms of that. And we wouldn't bring anything else, obviously, but good to get Brent on this morning. Great day to have him on. Your co-Vol Network broadcaster.
Yeah.
Right.
See what he gonna give me tonight, though.
Your co-family member going to join us next. Ron Slay is in the building. We have put eyes on him. He is not on a plane. He's not on a television set. Actually, he could be right now for all we know.
Very true.
But coming up in a moment, he'll be on RKW next.
Did you know that up to 50% of the air you breathe in your home comes from your crawl space? Well, have you ever looked in your crawl space? I get it. Most of us don't even want to know what's in there, all right? But moisture in your crawl space, especially with the storms and weather we've had, man, it can affect your foundation and also affect where water is leaking in your house and just the safety of you also. If I can be completely honest with you, man, but this is where United Structural Systems can help you. They've been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they aren't going anywhere. Help control moisture and musty smells with mold treatment and crawl space encapsulation that comes with the USS guarantee. That's right. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in your crawl space and helps deter mold and mildew and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. So turn your crawl space into a healthy space. Reach out to the place that I trust, the people I trust, man, at United Structural Systems. You can reach them at USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com or call them at 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Television's Ron Slay is in the building. RKW brewed up by Scooter's Coffee or Scooter's Hot Chocolate if you're like Slay. You can download the Scooter's Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. Slay, it is good to put eyes on you. It's good to see you. You're looking awake. You are alive and well. You're looking awake.
Yeah, he laughs.
Hey, man. Like,
feeling awake is different.
It's just like looking in that side view mirror, baby. Objects in the mirror getting closer than they appear or something like that. You feel me? Yeah, don't let this fool you.
More tired than you.
More tired than they appear. I promise you, Savage. You got to look close, deep into the eyes.
Yeah. Look into the optics of your eyes, baby.
Yeah.
What's going on? How was San Antonio?
It was cool. Before we get into that, man, let me give a shout out to Scooters, man. Y'all doing y'all thing in the hot chocolate. But me being a hot chocolate connoisseur,
oh jeez,
I always gotta, give you a little tidbits. If I don't keep it 100 with you, you know what I mean, especially in the food, in the food beverage lane, we really ain't doing nothing. So what I'm telling y'all, Scooters, is got up your game on your little flavors.
Oh.
You feel what I'm saying? You feel where I'm going? Like, I see the hot chocolate is one thing. You know what I mean? And you talking to a connoisseur. Like, this is my lane.
Yeah.
You got to come through vanilla one time. You know what I mean?
They got options.
Caramel.
Seasonal options.
Oh, see that? Yeah, I need.
You're gonna be chilling come Christmas time. You also might be able to just also ask, like, hey, can you put a shot of this flavor
before I scoot on around? Huh?
Before you scoot on around,
you should do the Slay Hot Chocolate.
That should be one of my things.
You can 100% do that. They're very customizable. Every drink at Scooter's Coffee.
I need to talk to the daughter that was in here and said she was going to take care of me with the hot chocolate.
That's right.
I need another thing. I need to find what we're doing with the whipped cream. Is whipped cream on there? You know what I mean? I need that's a key ingredient.
Because you like whipped cream.
I need that with a little drizzle on it. I'm a drizzle guy too, so you know what I mean. But all in all, 7.5.
Monroe is the dog.
I like it.
Aaron's the father. Monroe.
Yeah,
they call her Ro.
Lil' Ro. Hey, Ro. Let's get it together, man. You have a little meeting.
Uncle Slay is going to be hitting y'all.
Research and development. A little R&D.
Yeah, that's
research and development.
Listen, we all try to get better. You know what I mean? If I can't, tell y'all how we can get better, then listen, I don't need to drink the hot chocolate.
See? Real one.
So I'm returning
customer.
I like
I'm going.
You still going to go.
I heard y'all talking about the cinnamon roll. I got to go bust that down one time.
Gosh, it's
You haven't had that one yet?
No, I ain't, because I know they got one over there on Carson Highway over there in the hood in Quicksack. Well, them bad boys,
Yeah.
and they last about 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Them bad boys.
I know you are a cinnamon roll connoisseur, so the Scooter cinnamon roll is so warm that I was driving to Knoxville, and I don't necessarily recommend this, but I did it and survived. I marked safe from eating a cinnamon roll. I ate it with a fork while I was driving because I didn't want it to cool off.
Really.
Right.
Yeah,
And it was so warm, I was like, I'm eating this now. I'm not waiting till Cookville when I stop to get gas.
I can do that.
And it was very good.
I can do that. That's
very good.
Good decision by you, Willie.
Thank you.
San Antonio.
How was it?
Yeah.
It was a cool time, man. Charles.
The last volunteer standing at the Alamo.
You better believe
Saw
it.
that.
I heard it's not that big.
No, it's about
it's not that big at all.
7 to 8 steps.
Yeah. People were littler
Long
back
steps
then.
you can get on through.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 8 steps. And then, misconception, Alamo is everything outside of the church. The Alamo is an actual church that turned into a fort. Oh. So I found that out. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah,
You listened on the tour.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So when you step out.
I've been there and I didn't know that.
The lady was like, now, everything out here is actually the Alamo, too. This was just the church that turned into a fort.
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. Okay. So in the little picture that I had that right there, that ain't nothing but bourbon.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Stogie.
Yeah, Stogie.
Radio professional,
That's
keeping
all
it
that
moving.
is.
The mic,
Excuse me.
Yeah.
they can't smell it.
Yeah, that was wild right there.
Absolutely not.
But when I took the VF, I threw the Vol sign up in front of that's where David Crockett's supposed to got shot at.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, about 8 bullets right there. Riddled them up.
What?
That's what the legend said.
You have
So-
your head on the swivel?
Oh, yeah, I was right there. I just had to go, pay my respects to David. You know what I mean? Let him know
Absolutely.
I'm out here holding it down.
Fellow
I know we didn't make it to the final
You
four.
fail
We
so
went
I
there.
can stand.
Come on now.
Yeah.
But it was solid, man. It was great. So what Barkley said about the women and the churros and all that.
Oh,
Listen,
my goodness. Yeah, tell us.
KK, I don't really know what's going on with all that because
You're a one-woman
with
man
the Final
now.
Four going on, it was so many different, schools and
bases.
and it was flooded. So I didn't actually get to see what was going on the outside.
But I did walk past the bus station and it kind of lined up with
Charles Barkley's
what he was saying. You know what I mean?
interpretation. Okay.
Yeah. It was one time when, I don't know if y'all seen Coming to America, when the ball was talking about, I go around the corner and I see Dr. Martin Luther King. I said, Dr. Martin Luther King. And he hit him. You know what I mean? Pop me here. Yeah. And I was like, Dr. Martin Luther King, why you hit me? You know what I mean? So I will say.
ain't seen no Martin Luther King.
I did see Dr. Martin Luther King. I bust the corner, and this where it get weird at. It get a little weird in San Antonio. I guess maybe after 9:30, 10.
Okay.
Come around the corner, and there was a dude laying on the pavement going to work on the pavement. And he didn't have no jackhammer. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it was weird to me too. I didn't and I abruptly stopped.
Yep.
And said, you know what, that's your zone.
Sure is.
I'm across the street.
That belongs
and go,
to you.
yeah, this is your area apparently. Like dogs walk around and pee.
Men at work.
You're not red, go out there, you might smell something. Oh, let me pee right here, mark my zone. So Buddy was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Buddy was getting on down. And
that's far from the Riverwalk.
Yeah, no, about a mile. About a cool mile
from the Riverwalk.
Mile. So I don't know what he had going on or what was in, but that was his world.
Okay.
And I was trying to get to my home, which was the hotel, and to get home. That was the wildest thing. I mean,
so basketball was played in San Antonio.
Pants quad level wide. You know what I mean? Ain't got nobody walking around the corner. Let me finish what I got to do. But yeah, so it's weird at the around bus station.
You say Bell Southway wasn't just a phone
That's
company.
all I'm just reach out and touch somebody. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But yeah, overall though, Willie, good experience, good food. I'm not a big when it comes to Mexican food, like you know what I mean. My wife is
Mexican food.
Black and Mexican, so I get enough of that at home. Yeah, so I mean like. Worldwide Tacos is the only tacos I eat. You know what I mean, from LA. So I
other than that, you're like, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm cool on that. Yeah, give me some hamburgers or something. I'm straight. Yeah, but it was cool, authentic. And then they get mad at you.
They got a lot of corn tortillas over there when you get Tex-Mex.
Oh, dope, man! You should have seen the look they gave me when I was sitting at the bar and they got some the fajita chicken nachos. I was like, man, you got like Heinz 57 or some barbecue sauce or anything I can dug it up. Oh, he was hot as me.
What in the world are you
the first thing he said, where you from?
That's so funny.
That's the reason why you're a state.
I want to go hit them with where you from.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm a volunteer. You should have rolled out a red carpet for me.
Keep on playing around with me, but I have some people knocking at this door, checking cards. But anyway.
Some other men at work.
It was all good, yeah. I ain't playing with that stuff. Don't be asking me where I'm from. I know where I'm from. I'm right here. Born Let me rock, landing on us. That's all I'm saying.
You tell by the way I walk.
And I told him that. Tell by the way I walk, I ain't from around here. Nashville,
I can get them all. We ain't done this in a minute. Let me go get them on track, man. Get me on track, because I want to play.
So
I'm talking about street meats is what you saw on that.
It was wild out there, Drew.
That is true.
No sour cream.
Let's talk about the two transfers that are official for Tennessee basketball. I know you've spoken about Jalen Carey. Jalen Carey appears to be a man after your own heart.
Listen.
And the way that he plays and the mentality that he brings is something that Tennessee needs.
Hey, Willie, that was one of my favorite players, man. Jalen Carey and Billy Richmond. Those two guys, because of the energy they play with. I don't know if you remember the game Crash Bandicoot. Like you just run into things. Yeah, like that's how they play. And I'm cool with that. Like that's the energy you need. Like you don't fear anything. Yeah, it's a role for that. And he was that for Vanderbilt. The mental side, the toughness, all of that. And that's why I loved it. He changed the makeup of the game as soon as he came in. So for the Vols to get that, I think that's pretty dope. Because I think you lost a little bit of that toughness when Tobey left. Mm-hmm. So you kind of filling that in, but you filling in with a more offensive guy. Right. I think he can step out. He may can shoot the top of the key three.
9 threes last year.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, he get with Coach Barnes and the staff and development. We've seen it over the years. That'd be something they lean into. So he's a guy that I think you can get a ball on the block. Undersized. He's had success with them. So that's big. And then Jacoby Gillespie. I mean, I think that was a heck of a diamond.
We talked about him a little bit last year because when he came out of the portal from Belmont, I'd watched him a lot at Belmont, and he went to Maryland. Has the year at Maryland. Tennessee knew it needed a Power 4 starting experience point guard to replace Zakai Ziegler. How has the scouting report on Jacoby changed from last year when he left Belmont to now when he's leaving Maryland?
It's not a question if he can play on that level. I think coming out of Belmont, it was a little bit of, let's see, kind of like what Malik went through. It could have been kind of, K. Tyson?
K. Tyson in North Carolina.
So you see, like he went to North Carolina, and it's almost like, you might need to go back to Belmont. You
Didn't
know
have the role that was expected.
You feel what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I think it was opportunity to be earned for North Carolina, and he didn't go grab that. You know what I mean? They were looking for people to help. But Jacoby Gillespie went up there in Maryland, and he was a key cog for them. That what was it, Crab Five?
The Crab Five.
Being able to play with different
Rodney
stars
Rice,
and stuff
Derek
like
Queen.
that, dog. Like that's saying something. And be able to distribute the ball and keep guys happy, especially a guy like Queen who expecting to get the rock. And also his running mate, Rice. Like, you need these guys to be able to, kind of navigate through the season and still be able to play on both ends of the floor. So I think it's hand in hand. Great little marriage with him in Tennessee, especially with him being a Tennessee kid. Like, that's the other part that you got to kind of throw in there, because you're going to play with a different pride. You know what I'm saying? Being able to come back home, and he probably wanted to go there. I know his dad's still up there, so that's something that he should probably a chip on the shoulder. You know what I mean? Showing and proving that he belongs there. So
I love it. Nate Ament Slay is a 5-star player ranked the number 3 overall prospect by On3. On paper, would be the best recruit in the modern era of Tennessee basketball in terms of recruiting services and who guys are coming out of high school. Now, I know Allen Houston was quite the player coming to play for Wade, coming out of high school. And you can make arguments about who the best recruits are that Tennessee has ever pursued. It is realistic to say that this is as good of a prospect as Tennessee has ever been in the mix for at this point, and a potential program changer that Tennessee is battling for. And Brent Hubs said earlier this morning, said they are absolutely in the mix.
Yeah, I heard the exact same thing. I would say along those lines, this would be Vincent Yarbrough-like, Scotty Hobson-like, Tobias Harris-like, like, you know what I mean? So when you start talking about that elite, the recent guys coming in, he could do some special things. You add him with a group that's already established in the front court, so you don't put any responsibility on them saying, hey, man, we need to get down there and go bang or anything. I could actually see him taking a route kind of like Jabari Smith, if you remember him from Auburn.
Totally.
A couple years ago, like, he could have that type of impact. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get him, because they need – it would be nice to land a big fish, especially a guy that can get out there on the wing and get busy, where you say, everybody move, go get me one, and, he'd be able to go do that. So, that'll be a big fish. And I, like Hub said, reached out to some people, and they were like, man, we're in the mix. It's going to be rough, but we're in the mix, so that's all you can add.
That dark money at Duke is
that's
right?
It's different. It's different.
Hey, man. They playing a different game.
Quarterbacks too over there.
Yeah, they playing a different game. And I was telling Savage about it. Like, it's so they don't have to rely on the university or collectives to go and get what they need. Like, Coach K made up his mind. Like, I'm tired of asking the university for money. Why would I do that? And I can just go get 4 or 5 billionaires and say, hey, man, we need some bread. He was like, who's gonna tell me no?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they have their own pot that they go pull from just for basketball.
Yeah.
And it replenishes. So I don't know how
It's
you
insane.
His
how you fight
number,
that.
as far as like, and Cooper Flag warranted this. Just say the same way that AJ, how do you say it?
Yep.
The Banter, BYU warranted that type of payout.
Is that BYU's thing too?
Oh, they've got that much money too.
They got a bankroll to play with.
Yeah.
They might have the most.
Utah is none of anybody. Hey, no, absolutely not. But besides that, too, real quick, I heard you jumping in on a little bit at the end of y'all show yesterday. The women transfer portal.
Man.
Basketball.
South Carolina just took a big Tennessee target from FSU.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
She is incredible.
Keisha wasn't crushed by that. She was just like, well, I get it. It's South Carolina.
Hey, man, her and Wiley in the backcourt.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
Hey, dog. I don't like.
Ton Staley took that loss personally.
Yeah, hey, man,
exactly,
all them little
she did.
memes and
tough.
everything, her going off on the sideline.
I know.
Oh, no, she got receipts. Remember, this is equivalent to a couple years ago when Aaliyah Boston was crying and then came back with a vengeance the next season, won the national championship. That's what Don's about to do.
And then this whole little
Facts.
run Gino been on.
Yeah.
We don't do this at UConn.
Yeah.
She heard and watched and saved it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. You was talking about the names that are in the portal for the women's basketball game. Like it is go get it.
Yeah.
One, if it's there for
absolutely.
you, definitely go get it. I just wonder on that side of things, is the need to jump in heavier than them staying where they are? The money. Because I know it's a separation of bread.
It is, and I think it's the programs more so than you know what I mean anything else. Because you watched Angel Reese go from Maryland to LSU looking for it. Haley Van Lith leave Oregon, Louisville, go to LSU, then to TCU. You know what I mean? So it's people out there doing it. Then what's our girl Anaya Moore? Over at Vanderbilt, like I just saw she jumped in. Really? Jumped in the portal. Like, and she Ayana Moore, I think. Man, dog. Like I was expecting them to come back. Pierre and what's my girl that just like to score 50 points every time when she go out there. Michaela Blake's like, I was thinking that little nucleus right there, that could create some damage, you know what I mean? But she jumped in the portal. Maybe that's just to kind of, get Vanderbilt's attention, like, hey, man, come on, yeah.
Because they can play a little,
give me some. Give me some. Show me some love. But
do you think, real quick, the coaches are asking the players, hey, I want to give you the money. Yeah. You got to go get Miss Candace to give us more money for you.
I do think that's a part of it. And that's why you look at the programs like a Texas, you look at UCLA, you look at USC, like these players recruiting each other because they know that, hey, man, we can pay.
Yep.
Like we got something over here, maybe a little bit better than the pot that you in, you know what I mean? Plus, we're gonna be on prime time. Like you look at the women's game as far as endorsements go.
Yeah, man.
Maybe way bigger than the guys.
So.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a couple guys out there, you know what I mean, that Cooper and them that have some national commercials, but man, it's flooded.
You're seeing the women everywhere.
Oh my God, man, it's paid. Juju,
Juju,
man, it's flooded, dog. So, and that's us seeing it way out here in Tennessee. Imagine what's going on in California.
Right.
There's billboards, and you know what I mean. Imagine what's going on in stores. Like it's unimaginable right now. But you got to go to the program to get it, and everybody's program can't do it. So
it's true. Ron Slay in studio. We'll talk about the Nico Iamaleava saga with Slay coming up. Yes, it is. On RKW, brewed by Scooters Coffee. Weekend right around the corner. Buck Reisig show right around the corner. Ron Slay is here. So
The Lucas Manzica show.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Featuring
I like that.
Robert Walsh.
Uh-huh.
LP
And-
show.
And another guy
With appearances by Buck Reisig.
with a beard. Occasional beard.
The Nico Iamaleava contract stuff. Slay, you know a lot of basketball players, football players, athletes in general who have gone through this game of chicken in NIL negotiations. You know as well as anyone, there are a lot of people that influence the athlete that sometimes just wants to go play. What do you make of all of the info, all of the stories, the conflicting reports? Nico's dad saying, we're happy, we don't want a new deal. What is your reaction to what we have heard out of the Nico Iamaleava camp over the last 24 hours?
Man, I think it was first of all, I thought Hubs hit it on the head. He got the information from somewhere. But I think that's where it gets dicey when you start having these third parties and other schools knowing what you're getting, like, you know what I mean, overbidding or trying to run it up. Like, I remember we were talking about early in the year with Lenore Sellers, like he was situated and ready to come back to South Carolina. But all of a sudden, Auburn or Ole Miss threw a number out to him to, like, entice him to come now, which made South Carolina say, all right, well, if y'all going to keep him then, you better up the ante and go and get him because there's other teams that want him. You know what I mean? He saw Lagway out there getting paid. You know what I mean? Like, what is he supposed to do? That's my thing. Or your representation or your manager, your agent, whatever. Like, even if it's not you or it's not Nico, like, I think y'all hit it on the head. Like, what is he supposed to do? Just sit there and say, you know what? They did give me $2 million 3 years ago. All right, cool.
Right.
I'm going to just ride on out. Loyalty is what it is. Well, you're not doing yourself any favor by saying you're just going to stay on that old contract. Like, that don't make sense.
Everyone else
That's not how it
pass you
works.
by.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Totally.
It's not. Yeah, money's evolving. You seeing buildings go up there in Knoxville. Well, hey, wait a minute. I think I need a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
Some of that too.
Yeah, and I think, man, when people saying pros, this to me reminds me of overseas. Like, this is how it works. You know what I mean? People signing 1-year contracts or a 10-month contract, and then they're getting out trying to go back to the drawing board to get more money. You watching what's going on around the league. Hey, man, I just outperformed him this year. He on a 2-year deal. Come on, dog. Like, look at the numbers.
Sure.
Or I'm going to go somewhere else. So if you want to keep me, like, you got to negotiating day in and day out. But I was listening to y'all earlier, man, and I was like, man, I remember when basketball season ended and you just, like, you decompress. You know what I mean? Like, the coaches, you'd be 2 weeks, you go in the basketball office, ain't nothing but the secretary in there.
Right.
Ain't no coaches there. They either slight recruiting or they're on vacation. You know what I mean? You as a player, you take a couple of days off. You know what I mean? You might go in there and shoot, might play a little pickup, but you really chilling when the spring roll around until get ready to ramp up for mini-term and then start doing workouts. That's over. Like, that is done with.
Endless.
Like, dude, the Final Four just ended. And we talking about the transfer portal, them recruiting people.
They're doing it during the Final Four.
Exactly,
That's
yeah.
nuts, man. Like, I don't know. You got to be a different creature to want to coach in this environment, man. Like,
That's why Saban said,
yeah, I ain't got time for this. Like,
Right?
you're not respecting my resume or anything, the work that I've done, and you leaving? Like, who's leaving Jay Wright when he's at Villanova? Who's leaving
goodness.
Bill Self? You know what I mean? Like, all these coaches that it was a row behind us. Everybody that was either been in the Final Four or won the national championship, from Tubby Smith to Chris Beard to Scott Drew to Nate Oates. The list went on and on. And I'm looking back at it like, dog, look at, man, how many people have been run out the game or, you know what I'm saying, like really just hanging on. And you can see the stress wearing on them. So it's like, it's a different day and age, dog. Different day and age.
I don't know
man.
how they do it.
It is. It is very different. There is a picture, by the way, circulating online of Rick Barnes meeting with a transfer portal target at Cracker Barrel right now.
Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Elijah Freeman of Lincoln Memorial, big
Love it.
6'8" wing target of the transfer portal. So there you go.
It
As we speak.
never stops.
At a Cracker
ABC, always be crude
No,
and
you
try
Out
the
there on the rocking
pancakes.
chairs.
Man,
Mama's
what?
pancake breakfast
Playing
is
checkers.
great. Let's go talk about your NIL team.
Hey, that is, dog. That's the world we live in, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, man. Good to see you. Glad you got a little bit of a break.
Yeah, man. If
Are
you're
you
in San
going to the
Antonio,
spring
you
game?
go around corners.
Oh, God.
Have your attention, your antennas up.
No Wednesday hump zone there.
Yeah, that's
Are you
really
going to the
day.
spring game?
No, man. So Lil Ron got the Adams play. He's pressed the
Okay.
Adams, man. So I gotta,
sweet.
I gotta stay and watch my little dog, man. I missed it last night because I went to the rally on the runway. So I gotta go Friday, Saturday. Sunday.
Cool.
You got plenty more to go down there and see
You
that.
get to listen to Ramon.
Yeah, I'll definitely have him in my ear.
Exactly.
I love it.
question.
Best of luck to Ramon Foster. First
Yeah.
Vol Network
Good luck.
broadcast.
Good luck.
Tomorrow
baby.
with the
Real,
Von
man.
Mike
You look like
Keith,
June right
the whole
there.
crew. We're excited to listen.
Just like June.
Can't wait to hear about it.
Send us home.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is, man. Brunch on Sunday.
Absolutely.
All right, then there we go. See, that's
Time
what
and
I'm
place,
doing.
let me know.
Here we go, man. Listen, talk to somebody you ain't talked to in a while. Call somebody. Apologize to somebody, man. Buy somebody a random drink, man. Hug your people. Love your people, man. But at the end of the day, make it back to us on Monday. And your Twitter fingers and your mic always high.
Goodbye, friends.